What's up, everybody?
Oh, is it time? We're on?
Yeah, sorry. I guess I could have done more of a official. This is how we start, right? I just hit live until you guys figure it out.
You know what? Hey, that's cool. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Three Scoundrels in a Cantina. Once again, your host, Old Man Logan 76, with Avant and Bones. And I'm very happy to have an old friend onto the show who is highly knowledgeable on the game, has got a lot of good things to say. If you're looking for good quality content on what to do, you have picked the right episode. As always, Avant is going to have another segment of thrift shopping, and we're going to go over some of the latest and greatest hot off the press news. But again, I want to introduce PicoBurrito, one half of the great show, Holotable News Network with Celiac Sarah. Catch their show whenever you can. But Pico, how are you? Thank you once again for coming on. We always love it when you come on. How are you doing?
Guys, first of all, thanks for having me back. I'm doing great. Let's be honest. I am the third best person on the show behind Sarah and the newborn. I mean, the newborn actually has much better things to say than I do on a daily basis. But really excited to be back. It's been way too long, and thanks for having me tonight. So.
Absolutely. No, it's been, I actually been meaning to message Sarah and say it's actually been a treat, not only watching every episode, but seeing the little man grow. Like he's wow, it's shocking how time flies. But
rapidly growing for sure.
Yeah. Avant, Bob, how are my co-hosts doing? What is happening?
Good, man. Good. My son just turned 16. Speaking of how time flies, so, just yesterday. So. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, good. Things are good, man. Things are good.
Yeah,
working on
all good on my front.
All right, so I'm glad we have Pico here because last week we had some big news drop that we talked about, but I really wanted to get his insight. I know we talked about the Leviathan requirements. We don't have a kit yet, obviously, but the requirements dropped, and we all know what we're facing. And if memory serves, what we talked about last week, these are steep. These are pretty steep. This is not an easy farm. This is going to be very time consuming, if not expensive, for those that do spend. And Pico, I wanted to get your perspective. Is this what you expected? Were you throwing any curveballs? And where are you sitting? Are you ready to go with this?
Yeah, so I'm ready, and honestly, I was I had everything ready to go except Malik was R8 instead of R9, and I had taken Darth Revan right before the raid. I took Revan to R9 because I knew that was going to be the plan regardless. So I wanted to get him there, and I was worried I was going to burn through a bunch of resources. But and look, I'm gonna answer this from the perspective that. I know where my roster sits, so folks kind of give me a second on this because I don't think it's bad, and I don't, and I listened to what you guys were saying last week, and I understand that point of view, but there are a couple of things the way that I look at it. And the first is this is not a chase; it's a monthly reoccurring event, which means if you're not ready month one, you can be ready month 2, and if you're not ready month 2, you can be ready month 3. And so I think that's part of it is why I don't think it's that bad. The bigger piece for me, I know 2 R9 characters seems like a lot, but if what I hear from a lot of people talking about in the game is they're not spending or relic material on R9s. It's very selective. So my assumption is most people have like the top end of the relic material. They're sitting on a bucket of them. Now salvage and getting all the signal data is really difficult. And I understand that's time consuming, but I think like the R9 aspect of it and the keypads and the arrow magnifiers, I don't think it's that bad because I think a lot of people probably are sitting on those pieces. I think the other piece to it though is. And I think this is the reality of where the game is right now. I think the new R5 is R7, and that's why I didn't think it was that far off. But it wasn't really surprising. I think the other note, and then I'll stop talking because everybody knows I can suck the air out of room. I think CG did people favors. I really do. I think that they're forcing you to relic up some characters. I think that are going to be good. Like an R9 Malik is going to be great to have. An R9 Revan, probably not, but it is what it is. You're going to want it there anyway. So I don't think it's that bad. I understand the concern, but yeah.
I agree. It could be Relic 10 right now, but it's not. That's so I'm happy.
Dude, don't put that hate on us, Ricky Bobby.
I mean, how far is it though? I mean, I don't think it's that far away. If we're already R9ing people, multiple R9s, it's coming soon. Maybe with the next GO.
Let's get through one more road ahead before we think about Relic 10.
I mean, that very well could be the next step. I actually think I knew Revan was going to be 9.
Yeah.
Malik kind of threw me off, but I'd already had Malik at 9 just because he was a tank, and I felt, although it's silly now because I mean, you put him with a Malgus team, and it doesn't matter if SCE faces him in GAC, he's getting smoked either way. But I did that a while ago. The old school Sith Trooper was Relic 5. I had to bring that to 7.
Yep.
Darth Maul was 5. Had to bring him to 7. HK was 4. Had to bring him to 7. Bastila Shan Jedi threw me off. That was the curveball.
It was, but again, I think it's a favor because that is one of the better teams in the raid right now. So at least they're asking you to relic something because you're not going to get anything for free, and I think that character is kind of prepping you to be just better in the raid from that standpoint. Like I know it doesn't make a lot of sense to have it light side instead of dark side, but I think if it was the dark side, like I think that's more of a that's like as much of a wasted character as HK. Really, in this case, I think that light side Bastila is a better fit because she's going to actually have a use at R7, where maybe not so much for everyone else on the other side.
People always like to talk about from a lore standpoint. I think from a lore standpoint, it makes sense. I don't think it's that crazy.
I lucked out. I actually had the light side relic and not the other one. So I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? This never happens to me.
I think you made a good
I read it wrong. Point. I saw Bastila Shan and I immediately assumed it was Fallen, and I went, yes, I go! Oh, shit. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, I think you make a good point. People like to get the pitchforks out and complain about how high the relic levels are, but if you're not ready, it'll be ready. It'll be here next month, and the month after, and the month after, just like the Executor and Profundity. So whenever you're ready, it'll be here. It's not like the Grand Inquisitor event where people are waiting months and months.
or Cal. I mean, because that's the other thing. There's a lot of people right now trying to make that decision. Is it Cal or is it the Leviathan? And and if you're not ready for Cal, you're going to miss it. That's going to be the challenge, and it's going to be probably 3 months at that point.
So Pico, how important do you think Leviathan is in this game? Like, how important? What priority should all It's obviously on everyone's radar. Is it something that people should put off and not worry about? Or do you think this is really important? It's going to be game-changing kind of thing. Like, how important should people be putting this on their priority list?
So this is a great question because there's a couple of ways to answer it, and the first is, how do you feel about PvP? Yeah. Because if PvP is something that's important to you, it's got to be top of the list because Meathead said in the original announcement, this is going to be the top of the food chain. Like I think that there are people that we were having a conversation around one of my dumb decisions of chasing Phoenix right now in the H&M Discord.
It's not dumb. I've been telling people to do the same thing. Actually, it's not dumb.
Yeah, but we were talking about it today, and someone's like, well, that'll just put you in a better position to beat Leviathan with Profundity. Profundity is not going to beat Leviathan. I really think that this ship is going to drop, and it's going to be, if you don't have it, you're not beating it, or you're not beating it out of one shot. So I think that's part of the challenge. Now, I think the second piece to that is, in your fleet shard, how friendly is your fleet shard?
Yeah. That depends on how friendly you are to your fleet shard, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, are you on a shard mafia, and do you have good standing in said shard mafia?
Yeah, I'm in a very, very inactive shard piece. I think that there's maybe 10 of us that are there, and I've already told everyone I will have it 7-star by the end of the first run, and I'm going to park in 2. And if nobody messes with me, I'm just going to stay in 2 because I don't want to have to worry about people beating me, and I want to make sure that people can kind of get all the resources they want.
Yeah, it's only 25 crystals,
yeah.
so that's pretty cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
and then you don't have to log in, and you just get your passive income.
Yeah. But if you're in a case that, like, I've got a buddy of mine who just started playing about a year ago. He's around 2 million GP, I think. Like, it's a big deal for him because that's again, we talk about how that source of crystals, that it's there and it's the best source from that standpoint. Mm-hmm. But getting those requirements, like for him, it's a little off from that side. But right now the game's so skewed towards these PvE modes. Yeah. I don't see it being a big differentiator. And I know Sarah seems to think that we're going to get of that ship is going to have an impact on territory battles. I'm not sure because I haven't announced anything around it yet, but I think it's going to matter on PvP. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pulling back from PvP a little bit just because I don't have enough hours in the day. And
I've been doing the same.
Yeah,
yep.
It's also kind of exhausting.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, because with PvE content, once you get over the hump, you're always over the hump. But when you're competing against other players like you'll never get over the hump because they're either staying up with you or doing better, and it's just
an endless chase,
never ending.
Yeah.
And another big, especially for me, another big motivating factor is the rewards in the raid. As long as you're in the right guild, are so good that I'd rather put my effort into maximizing my personal reward track. And progressing a guild to get to that coveted 235 box. Or 265, excuse me.
It's back to if R7 is going to be the new R5, the way you're going to get there is through the raid. That's it, because it's going to give you so much flexibility from getting all that relic material that way. And I just think the resources are kind of better served going off in that direction. But again, it's hard to say. I'm going to be really interested at the end of, we'll say, 3 months after the release of the Leviathan, is how many people actually have it. Because I think you're going to see a lot more people with Leviathan than you saw with the Executor and then what you saw with Profundity. Because we're getting to the point that no one's really having to worry about farming shards anymore. It's just relic material.
Yeah.
This will be the first meta-shifting addition to the game that you did not need to hit a node to farm, like panic farm a ship or a character, because of the way they do these chases.
It's actually that's a juicy take right there, and that's true.
Yeah.
Well, with the exception of the 2 new ships, if you're like lazy with the galactic chase, but they've made it very accessible. Yeah. So
I'll ask you guys a question.
Go ahead.
Chase piece, because we talked about this last night, and I'm interested on your guys' thoughts on this. But if they move to a character release cadence that everything was a galactic chase, and for about 7 to 10,000 crystals, you could unlock a character at 7 stars. Would you be more inclined to go after marquee characters to get it 6-7 stars right away? Or would you kind of go back to kind of I'll get what I can and then I'll go farm it at a later date?
No, if marquees were galactic chases, I'd be on it all day.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I would chase for sure.
Like just the price tag alone.
Yep,
you're saving. I mean, you watch Arnold do enough whale or fail, you pretty much get an estimate of how much it costs to bring a marquee from.
It's like $300.
Exactly.
That's without gear.
In a galactic chase, what is it? 5,000 crystals, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 5,000 to 7,000.
If you hoard, it's like 5,000 and change. If you don't, it's like 7,000. So
yeah.
So if they did marquees like that, oh my god! I mean, I think so many more people would have the newer hotness.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be cool because then, like, if a character like Marin comes out, who I really, really want, but I don't care about Saul Guerrera, then I chase Marin and I slow farm the other ones. You know, that's pretty cool. I think that would be enjoyable from like a player enjoyment standpoint.
And free to play still wouldn't be able to farm every single one, Because eventually your stash is going to. So, like you said, you could pick and choose. But if a free-to-play player tried to do it, you couldn't do that.
The thing is, they
really interesting.
They would be able to pick and choose depending on
Yeah, that's awesome.
Creator their and reviews on certain characters, wherever their hard-earned crystals are going, they'll have an option to get a character into more stars than they would dropping. How many crystals? And Arnold wants to throw his mic through the screen because he got 7 again. So I mean, it's a no. To me, that's a no-brainer.
And I just wonder if you can get more people to drop $20 on crystals. By going down that path, and like you're gonna lose the folks that are willing to swing, that are willing to swing $300 for a character on that side. But if you can convert half of the player base into $20 every other week, man, that's good money right there. There's no other way you can cut that. So,
and you'd probably sell a couple of those packs where you get like 30 shards.
Yeah,
you'd sell more of those because they're getting closer and easier.
I used to like the $10 marquee packs back when they released like Bosk and stuff.
Yeah,
they were good.
And it's getting to the point where some of these tunes and some of these teams are important, but it's not just that. Roster depth is becoming more important than ever. As this game expands, roster depth is just becoming, especially in PvE, for TB, for Conquest, you need roster depth. And if you start to release the stranglehold on the latest and greatest that makes it more accessible. I mean, Pico brings up a great point. These past 2 Galactic Chases, I'm not even going to, I'm ashamed to admit how many $20 packs I dropped. Like, I'm
So, but it saved you money in the long run of having to go out and get 2 ships. And the other thing I think that it helps with CG is that they don't need to have these long character cycles as well, because part of the issue that they have is, so if I want to release a Galactic Legend in October, I have to start getting the characters out now so I can go through that 6-week cycle where they go from the marquee piece, and then they're in shipments, and then all of a sudden they become farmable at that point. It lets them consolidate that calendar a little bit more, and I think it probably lets them be a little bit more quicker to kind of decide what they want to do from a release perspective. So
now here's an interesting question, because you had said earlier that when the event comes out, you're putting your Leviathan to 7-star.
Yeah.
I will be doing the same. For those that don't spend and don't do that, but say they may want to spend a little bit to maybe bring it to 5 or maybe 6. What do you think the viability of this capital ship will be at 4-star? And should people wait a little while, catch a content creator like Arnold, go on a live, and then make that decision?
I think you need to give it 30 days. Give it the first cycle to figure out how it holds up. Like if you can consistently beat Leviathan and Executor. I'm sorry, if you could beat Executor and Profundity, sorry. And so essentially they've got 2 and you've got 3 is kind of that mentality of going in. And if you can make that work at a lower star, then you can slow farm it. If it's a case that I got it to 5 stars and I'm getting beat by other teams at that point and it's not holding, or I can't do other things with it, that would be a case that I would look at, can you accelerate to the next star level and kind of get it up from that side. But I will. It's funny and I've kind of explained where this kind of works in certain cases. I will have it at 7 stars. It's not going to cost me a dime. I've got some things that pick up some extra things at work. I kind of do some volunteer stuff at work, and I get gift cards that kind of come out of it. So I'll use that to generate shards. So it's easy for me to take care of it that way. But I think part of it. But what I think is I think this is going to look a lot more like Executor than it did Profundity. That when the Executor came out, even at 4 and 5 stars, it was the top of the heap. There was nothing that you were going to do to beat it. And I think that's going to be enough for a lot of people. And it's even at 4 and 5 stars, I think the halves are going to win out.
Go ahead. What do you guys got?
When it was first announced, didn't they say like they insinuated that it was going to defeat both of them pretty easily?
Yeah,
correct. Like they had it like all caps, pretty much say it was going to decimate all ships. So they pretty much let you know you better work on this because it's going to be damn near unstoppable.
Yeah, I've been free to play for a good while. Like I haven't spent money in a good amount of time, and I took Executor and Profundity to 5 stars when I unlocked it, and then I just kind of let it sit until I got enough crystals, and I didn't have any problem with mirror matches or things like that. I was able to climb, and I'll probably do the same thing this time.
And I think that makes sense. Again, it's not good. What, it's $150 to make it a run up. $150 is a lot of money. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. If you can be competitive with that ship at a lower star point, it might not be perfect, but 75% is probably better than kind of throwing a bunch of cash out of pocket from that side. And again, and I think we're going to talk about this, but probably something coming right behind this. A couple of other things coming right behind it. So it's where you're going after that point.
Now, we're not going to go over the whole kit, but I'm sure you've read it. What do you think the implications for this latest Galactic Chase ship and its coming in off a reinforcement Annihilate with a basic? Have you read these kits? How do you see this playing out? And obviously, there's no way to really get around a taunt. So the Y-Wing's going to get toasted. Bob's going to get toasted. Is this the ship that is going to make this fleet really, really churn? And what do you think the appropriate supporting cast of other ships is going to be?
So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this ship, because the way that I understand it is you need 41 stacks to get the basic off. And the fastest way to get it is to come in as the second reinforcement. So that means I probably need 2 turns, because I come in at 40, I take a turn that gets me to 41 or post over 41, and then I go next. What I really think it's going to equate to is a second ultimate for the capital ship.
Yeah, we need to think about that.
Because you bring it in second, so somebody else is going to come in first. I come in second, and it's almost like I get a ship on the board, and it's Thrawn's ultimate, but bringing a ship out on the board as well. So I think it's going to be late in the match, and to your question, on it's going after these other ships. My question is, will those tanks even be there at that point? Because if you're going 5 deep into reinforcements, you're probably some things are off of the board. So who really knows what happens in that case? But I think that this is going to I'm super interested to see what the Leviathan ultimate is going to be if I've got an Annihilate that I can pull in off of the bench.
And there is the possibility that this capital ship could add stacks to that.
Correct.
With an ability of its own.
Yep.
So it very well could be the first reinforcement. We don't know yet because we don't have a kit.
I can't wait to see it.
I know. I'm chomping at the bit. Oh my goodness.
The last 2 ultimates have been pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
How do you top the
Well, the Death Star was way cooler than the Tantive 4 chase out maneuver, but
I thought it was hilarious though. Whenever I saw it, though, I was like, "That makes sense."
It was kind of funny and cheeky, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was. If you happen to take your Profundity up against General Kenobi, and meanwhile a Clone Wars era ship is chasing after the Rebel blockade run, it doesn't really make sense. You'll go with it. You got the banners.
So do you think that we're going to have another destroy the capital ship ultimate? Do you think that it's
I don't know.
It has to be.
It's kind of like each capital ship's ultimate has kind of been lore friendly compared to the movie or what it was, and I'm trying to I've actually reread Darth Revan's kit a few times to see if there's anything in there that could kind of give us a clue. And I was kind of thinking an ultimate,
I have an idea.
Darth Revan does his first ability, and he takes all you can do is a basic. He increases all your cooldown. What if the ultimate ability was for the rest of the battle, all enemy ships can only do basics?
What if the ultimate ability is? Oh, I'm sorry, Logan. What if the ultimate ability is that the Leviathan death marks the enemy capital ship, and all of your fighters attack the capital ship and blow it up.
That would be awesome.
That would be
Like
fun.
just kind of like
and we don't
kind of
have
like
it.
Darth Revan death marks the leader, right?
Yeah.
What if it to build on that? What if it's the death mark the capital ship, and then you bring in your little swarm fighter, and that's the one that actually just knocks it out? Is that it nukes it from orbit from that side?
Yeah. Maybe that's how you can annihilate it, is you have to death mark it, and then you have to use that basic ability.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the importance of the fleet falls on, because when you read the kit for Darth Malgus's ship, that is, and then you look at the other kits of the chases that we're having, that defensive bulwark ability is because if you're going to bring this next ship in as a reinforcement, more often than not, I feel that bulwark ability is already going to be applied.
Yeah.
And it's just this fleet is going to be so durable. Like all those counterattacks that a Kenobi fleet or a Profundity or even the mass onslaught from an Executor, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's going to destroy Malgus's ship.
So the question is going to be what's going to be the first reinforcement. And because there's not a lot of good of options, I love Zara's phrase. He what he calls it, the ass cannon for the Sith fighter.
Yeah, it's so terrible.
But there was something that Meathead said in the Q&A for, I think the Sith. No, was the Fury? Might have been the Fury, but it was like, are you going to rework the Sith fighter? Was the question, and the response was, if we need to do something to the Sith fighter, it may be like part of the Leviathan kit. I think the Leviathan kit is going to do something to make that be the fourth ship, because I just don't see it being the Scimitar. I mean, yeah, I guess you could bring it in and do the stealth and target the tank ship, but that just, I don't know, that seems like an old mechanic. It feels like this is the chance that they're going to fix that ship.
And I think that's kind of why I've been careful about who I've been putting 6-dot mods on for my Sith fleet pilots. I don't know what it was, but I did. It could come back to bite me in the ass, but I put 6-dot mods on my Sith assassin for the fighter. I just, something is telling me that ship is finally going to have its day in the sun.
Yeah.
Like something in Leviathan's kit is going to focus on ship attackers or just Sith in general. They're going to be able to hit a lot harder. I mean, I don't know. Where Bones and Avant, where are you guys sitting on this fleet, and what do you feel about how this is going to affect the meta?
Go ahead, man.
I mean, I think it's going to be... I think it will be unbeatable in a single shot, kind of like Pico said. Like, I think if you don't have this fleet and you face it in PvP, like in GAC, you're going to have a really strong fleet, and then you're going to need a good, strong cleanup fleet. Like, maybe not both your Executor and Profundity, but maybe Executor and then Malevolence, like something that'll chew through the remainder of it. But I mean, and I'm okay with that, because the requirements are steep enough that it should be worth its investment in power, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you guys, pretty much. I just think if you're every day you're not working towards this, you're going to be missing out down. Competitively, you need to be getting this ASAP as soon as you can. I'm not saying if you're halfway to JMK, stop and go for this, but if you're kind of ready to start on a farm, go for this one, because you're going to be at the top of the food chain no matter where you're at. Even if you're sort of a beginner, if you're able to achieve all the requirements, go for it now, because you're going to be kicking butt everywhere.
I think you can be smart with your resources and use these new rewards from the crate raid and start taking characters up in the higher relic levels, like to relic 7, relic 8, relic 9, and like use those MK3 materials to your advantage. Be smart, buy good stuff.
Yeah, I will say, because of the raid, I've been able to relic up more more people and the higher rate. It's you're able to gear up tunes faster. You're able to relic gear tunes faster. It's just the raid rewards. I mean, yeah, there's been the time in game has been a huge topic throughout the community for a while now, but the rewards for that are just outstanding. The one thing I will say, I'm looking forward to seeing what this fleet does in TB, because that dark side ship, I'm done with that. I'm hoping this fleet just Ed Norton curb stomps the shit out of that, because I'm done with that zone. I'm done sweating. Like, I don't even bother anymore. So I'm hoping this fleet allows us to get a little retribution right there.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I'm tired of not being able to get perfect stars on the first phase, because the just stupid dark side fleet missions kill me, and then you get the other one that comes up later on. So
I'll be honest with you, as the TB officer for my guild, I have not attacked the dark side sector ship in I think 3 months.
Yeah,
because it's just completely unbeatable, and I just platoon my my 2 ships, my 2 conquest ships, and I just ignore that mission because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a waste. I have to be careful. I think Bodhi's here, so I don't want to talk about how poorly I'm actually doing in territory battles anymore, because it's just getting a little bit old working on it.
And I've noticed that too. Like, I'm noticing like half the guild is above me in waves and all this, and I'm at the point where I'm like, we 3-star the first bottom 3s, like, right. There's just, and especially with the topic of time in game, you've got to, again, this is cliche but yet very appropriate for the game we're playing. You got to pick and choose your battles. You got to pick and choose where you're going to put your time. And really the first phase of TB, I kind of go, have at it, guys. You do your thing. I'll deploy tomorrow, 2 hours before, or an hour or before it's required. There's just certain things, and I think that's the reason why I kind of stepped back from GAC a little bit. Like, I'm about to kind of get, if I do poorly in this next 3v3, I'm going to get bumped back into Kyber 2, which I'll be fine with. But it's the headache of trying to stay in Kyber 1. I'm getting to the point where, is this really worth it to me anymore?
Come down to Kyber 2 and maybe we'll play each other.
That be more fun. I mean,
that would be an epic live stream. I would love that.
These folks up here, man, they are ruthless. They are absolutely ruthless.
So, it's interesting. I was just wrapping up your first episode today as I was walking the dog this afternoon, and on the PvP thing, really quick, you guys were talking about CAW and their announcement that they made, and so there's also this rumor floating around that we're going to get a new territory, or like guild-based PvP mode later this year, and I think that we probably will, because if the timing is right, and I think that's probably when we'll get R10. No one shoot me for saying that, but you know how this is going to work. We're going to get they're going to announce this new PvP mode, guild PvP mode, and they'll be like, see what we did? This is all about us. We made this happen. And it's like, no. This is a plan a year and a half ago. It takes them that long to get this stuff out the door, but
I thought of that because I've heard that rumor floating around, and I remember my brain immediately brought me back to these arrogant motherfuckers and be like, you know what? That's because of us. Thank you. And your call officers, thank you. And I'm going to read that and look at them and be like, guys, you really need to stop and just, no, don't. Please
Maybe
don't.
They'll name the new game mode after them. Who knows?
And real quick, because I did mention that in the new episode update. What were your whole thoughts on that, Pico, of that whole thing? Because I know the Gambit did a bit on it. I know other people have. I know we did. What were your thoughts on that?
So I was sharing my thoughts in real time as I was reading the manifesto on our Discord server. And then all of a sudden we got a bunch of people joined our Discord server that were all part of CAW. It was really interesting. And it was like, and again, I think there's somebody who listens to the show that's there. And I'm sure that there's a number of phenomenally nice people there, but I think it's the same thing that you said. It's I just don't like, if you want to be that great at a video game, awesome. Like that's and more power to you. You know, I played some MMOs for a long time, and there was a period of time like I was like the best shaman on EverQuest 2 in the game, and I get that
Nice.
that mentality, but it takes a lot of effort, and I also, to your point, I had to make a conscious decision that I wanted to do this, and the whole problem is not. My view of like the whole problem that they have right now is this mentality that we cannot lose. It's better for us not to play than it is for us to lose.
Exactly. The
That's a good
arrogance
point.
behind
And
that.
yeah, and I just don't like. Far be it from me to criticize anyone spending on this game. I mean, that's like, yeah. I mean, it's and if they want to do that, and again, they got a lot of great ideas that come out of that, but the simple fact is that even with as much as what those 50 individuals spend, if they all left tomorrow, it wouldn't show up on a balance sheet. They really don't make that much of an impact on the bottom. Like if you look at the revenue stream that CG has, there's no way that 50 people can actually do that. It's not a case that it's a 5% downturn in revenue. It might be a 1% downturn, and yeah, that might show up, and that might be a blip. But and I think the best counter to this is if anyone kind of saw that the Reddit shutdown that just happened over the past weekend over this change to the Reddit because of the app piece, and I get both sides of the argument there, but Reddit ultimately is saying like, look, we're trying to be profitable, so we have to raise rates on the people that are consuming our service without paying for advertising dollars. And all of these forums shut down, and the CEO from Reddit on Tuesday was like, yeah, it hasn't made an impact. We really don't care. And at the end of it, they were all back. They were all back the next day.
Yeah, I saw that.
And,
yeah.
You know, and it was just like, oh, well, we're going to change the world. Oh, we didn't change the world. Well, you know what? I need a place to bitch about GAC, so we're going to turn the switch back on.
And Reddit knows that, and CG knows that. They all know that, you know, you're going to complain, but you'll be back, because that's what we always do. So,
again, conceptually I understand what they're doing, and I don't have a problem with it. I just, man, sometimes execution is bad.
Yeah, they did it wrong. Like, you should have secretly kind of reached out to some other guilds that were up there with you, and if like 5 or 10 of you did it, then they might take notice. But yeah, like you said, and they're not even stopping spending. They're just stop territory war. So I mean, you have to completely quit spending. You have to actually just and get others on board before you even say anything about it.
Yeah.
The thing, you know, if all 50 members of that guild proofread that, then, you know, I'm sure they're all lovely people, fathers, sons. They do good things in their life. But I'm sorry, all 50 of you are tone deaf. Like, I'm sorry. After reading that, I just was, again, and like what you said, Pico, I agree with what they're doing, but I said this last week. Your dilemma is self-inflicted. You are doing this to yourself. You are overworked because of your obsession of winning.
You have done this to yourself, Anakin.
Exactly. And you're going to decline to play in a game mode that really, in the grand scheme of where you are at the average of over 12 million GP, you guys aren't missing a whole hell of a lot. What? Some Datacron reroll material that more often than not you buy anyway?
Yeah.
I don't no. It's.
By the way, Logan, sorry if I stepped on your toes there as the resident impersonator. Maybe you should have done the impersonation instead of me.
No,
what was the I missed it. What was the
you ignored me. I'm offended.
No, I didn't ignore you. I wasn't sure you actually caught me off guard.
What did you say?
I said, you have done this to yourself, Anakin. Because you were talking about how it was a self-inflicted...
Kenobi said that to him. You've done that yourself.
So, by the way, Avant, with the beard in the whole look, like, it was perfect, because, like, you caught it out of the corner of my eye when you said it. I'm like, oh, that was Kenobi out of the corner of my eye when I said it. So it was great. It was awesome.
Hello there.
And by the way, folks, please follow our Twitch. follow. Check us out on Discord, everywhere else. Anybody that subscribes, if we get, I don't know, 10 subscribers within this episode, I don't even think we're at that point yet. Are we affiliate yet? Shit, are we still working on that?
We still got 20 to go.
If we get 10 subscribers, I will do an entire segment impersonating Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Darkness Escapes. Thank you for the follow, my friend. I think we missed a few follows as well.
If we get another 10 subscribers, I will do an entire segment speaking like Watto. Nubian! We have lots of that! So, we'll go with
but real quick, we do have some follows that I didn't even notice. So,
we do? Oh, yeah. Sweet.
So, off air, 4 hours ago, we got a follow from Zane Kawas J.I. Thank you for it, if you're here. Big Red 0272, 35 minutes ago. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Darkness Escapes, just 1 minute ago. And some guy named PicoBurrito followed as well. So, we appreciate you guys.
I heard he's good looking.
He sounds pretty sexy. Any burrito is sexy.
He actually has like that SWGOH ASMR kind of voice going on where you listen to him talk about mods and doze off. Which I don't know if that's a topic you want to doze off on because mods are important.
Logan, in the chat, Bodie wants to know how many subs for a Jar Jar episode.
Oh, fuck. 50. 50.
Come on, boys.
Pico, if you want to know one thing about Logan, if you want to absolutely derail our podcast, just bring up Jar Jar.
Oh, I've seen it. I was on one of the first couple of episodes, and I think McGoats was I mean it was like a regular occurrence. So.
I'm still on the train. Justice for Jar Jar, man. Bring him to the game.
All right, anywho, before my blood pressure goes up and I need to take a pill, let's move on to the next topic. But no, I knew we were transitioning, but please follow us on Twitch. Check us out on Discord. We're also on Spotify, Anchor. I'm working on getting us back on Apple Podcasts, but we're also on YouTube. Check us out. So, yeah, we have a new set of Datacrons. Now, before we get into this, let's go around the panel. How seriously does everybody take Datacrons, starting with Vaughn?
I actively farm Datacrons through Conquest. I generally will hit Red Crate with like maybe 3 days to go. And then I will farm either the Datacron node or the node in Sector 3 or 4, depending on what kind of materials I need to upgrade. And I generally will max out my Datacron inventory and then level up. I don't know. I probably have like 10 level 9s each set since they changed the format to make them 4 months long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably get like 9 or 10 level 9s. This time around, I might change my strategy a little bit, but I'll swing back around to that in a little bit.
Bob, what about you?
I don't even know anything about them right now. I just farm them, and then I ask you to in the DMs, like, is this one good? What am I got this character.
And then during your GAC, you show us your 4 Datacrons.
You need to take notes for this next segment, because I've broken down this set. I feel well.
Well, here's my thing, is it's like, I'm at a place where I probably have 4, like, Relic 5s, and it's always like a Relic 1 or Gear 12, and it just really throws things off, and I refuse to relic up for Datacron because it's temporary. The one thing I complain about them the most is that I wish you could apply it to there, and it just didn't apply to that Gear 12 character. And that'd be such a nice quality of life, but we know we can't do that. But so no, I'm just kind of sitting back listening to you guys. I'll ask a few questions, but this is your guys' segment.
Well, no, I actually really like that idea, Bob. I never thought of that. Like if your relic tunes hit the requirement, yet you had a Gear 12, then it just doesn't apply. Like that actually might promote more engagement for Datacrons for people in Bob's situation where his GP is at.
Well, yes, because I can't engage. They're keeping me from engaging. You know, So if I see the character list, and like I saw Mara Jade, right? Starkiller is my favorite team in the game. I was like, hell yes. So I took her to 7. I even took Vices to 5 or something, just for that. So it's the first time I'd ever done it. I was happy with it. It was fun.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Damn good one.
But it's constantly ones that I just don't have, like Inquisitors or First Order or Resistance. Those are just characters I haven't went for. So, but yeah, I mean,
Dark Nerd just said, "What's a Datacron?"
Yeah.
But I'm always one of those that rant on about Datacrons, so I'll just shut up now. Let's talk about what's coming in the future of Datacrons.
Pico, how do you where do you say how much farming do you put into the conquest or the con grind or the
I normally chase between 8 and 12 level 9s. What I don't like re-rolling. I will re-roll level 3s and level 6s to get what I want, because getting those are a little bit easier. I rarely touch stats. I mean, it's a case that normally, like the Uber kind of Datacron for a set, I'll roll stats there. Like the one I remember was Ninth Sister had that really cool Datacron like 4 months ago, and I was gonna make a run on it, so I threw a bunch of defense. Like I just burned a bunch to put defense on it, because I got lucky and I got it like on the first try, so I didn't actually stack that up. But I'm really far behind where I normally am right now, and I think it's because 4 months ago, the set that just dusted, I think I got really burned out with Conquest, and I just didn't build up a bunch of the resources underneath it, so I didn't have a lot of things to actually start building them up this time around. So we'll see where I end up in a week.
Yeah, I do about the same. I try to get 10 to 12 9s, and then I have a couple 5s and a boatload of 3s.
I have a lot of 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into this next set. I just took notes on what I thought really kind of struck out to me for this next set. Now, I don't think this set is actually too bad, to be honest. Now, I'm gonna hit stats, and if at any point you guys want to chime in on any of the sections here, please do.
I like this set for the most part.
Yeah. For stats, I got protection and health. I'll take it. Offense, crit damage. I'll take it. Defense, I will take all day. There are some teams out there that I would love to have a completely crafted cron with nothing but defense.
Are you asking me on offense in GAC or me on defense in GAC? Because that's a different question.
It is. I mean, again, I feel with a lot of these stats, it depends on your play style and what you do.
I'm a little bit scared of a fully Relic 8 Java squad with a crazy defense cron. I think it will be very, very timeout scary.
Or a completely leveled out Ray squad with nothing but defense.
Yeah. Or gas. Or because I've run into those enough times that all of a sudden, like, Riva can't beat gas because he's got so much defense and you can't just get to that production. That scares me there as well.
And Pico, I'm glad you listened to the last episode and sent me a message about modding. I am going to remod my gas for high defense.
Yeah,
he already has high protection, but I have him with more of an offense build, and I am going to make him an absolute tank.
Yeah, it's really good. I did want to put something on the Discord about it because I get really concerned about, like, hey man, you said this one thing on the show and this is why you're wrong. I couldn't find a way to write. I'm like, if I sent somebody a direct message about it, probably be a little bit better received from that side. So
no, I found your message informative.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, for level 3, honestly, there's one ring to rule them all. There's one that you should be shooting for.
Yeah.
It's the 15% health, 15% protection per ally at the start of each encounter. That is ridiculous.
Did that make it into the game?
One ring to rule them all?
Yeah, did that mod roll? Because I've rolled like 10 level 3s now and I haven't seen it, so I just assume
really?
it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Peak, are you serious? I've got like
Yeah.
6 of them.
No, I have 0 of them.
I have 5 Datacrons and they all have that.
Yeah,
I have re-rolled all. I've re-rolled 4 of them. I only got it one time, but I re-rolled the other 4, and I got it either on the first or second re-roll.
Yeah.
All the reroll material I got from the last set being dusted, I'm now sitting on 9 Datacrons, and 6 of them have that level 3 stat. But I did spend most of my reroll material because that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah.
6 out of 9. That's not bad.
It's called One Ring to rule them all.
That was just the nerdy topic
Oh,
that
okay.
I gave. For level 3.
Continue on.
Like, no, really, the rest of the level 3s are shit.
Yeah.
Meh.
They're meh. I don't even really find them very situational, to be honest. If you can get any of them, you want survivability, there you go.
Well, if anyone wants accuracy and evasion up, come talk to me because I've got more of them than I know what to do with at this point. So
You'll be ready for the next dodge meta.
Yeah.
Kill me now if that happens.
Exactly.
By the way, just mark this moment and come back in time and just off me.
Yeah.
But that level 3 is going to be good for so many teams.
Yep.
Like, I mean, again, when you see a Malgus team, a lot of people commit SE to it, but you have a well-invested Datacron, you're going to your opponent's going to have to use a legend.
Yeah.
There's no gas off counter. Like it's not going to work. I don't care how good your gas is. You have a level 3 Datacron on Malgus with a shitload of defense. You have to SE it.
I think that's what intrigues me about this Datacron set is that it doesn't really like point out to a galactic legend.
But
yeah, I mean, obviously it will beef up your GL squads, but I think it makes it like improves your ability to theory craft with good attacking squads and good defensive squads, and it makes things more interesting.
So I'm going to go the opposite because I think I've just decided for the next for as long as this one's around, I'm just not taking a GL on defense. I'm just going to bring them all to offense, and I'm just going to try and clear the board.
I actually enjoy that strategy more. It's more fun.
It's amazing you guys have said that. I actually lost to somebody in this last 5v5 who literally did that. He set almost every GL on defense, and he beat me.
He set them all on defense. I don't know how you do that with the way that the kind of the current meta of the game is.
He left. He had SCE available, and everything else he did was off meta. I was shocked. I was like, oh my god.
That's like when you put your hand out and shake that guy's hand and say, "You can have these 900 crystals, sir."
Yeah. So as for factions, we'll start with the Sith. There's only 2 that really struck out at me about Sith. One of them was Retribution for 3 turns.
Yep.
I think that's really good for a Treya team. Nihilus has a Dispel on basic. And combined, we'll get to it, but the SWGOH press level 9 and the removal. I mean, a lot of people are already saying that Darth Treya is kind of a GL right now as it is, especially on defense. This is going to pretty much solidify that opinion. That combination is going to be deadly for a Treya team. That's
where my roster is at. I have Savage at Relic 5, but if I didn't have these Leviathan requirements, I would be taking him to Relic 7 right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that again, it's gonna be nice on the Malgus team as well. Just giving again that those V Revens that everyone's gonna have going to counter. We're gonna have Malik doing it. The Retribution is just such a great addition. Everything else, I'm not sure about though. 10% offense for 2 turns is not great.
Nope. I do like the below 50% health inflict doubt on everyone.
That is another good one. Yes.
Yeah, I do like that one. That was the only 2 out of the Sith faction that I actually went, ooh, okay. I wouldn't say no to that.
I feel like you want one of each if you're a Datacron person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far I got one Sith one. I only have one that's over level 6, and I got the health protection for level 3, and then the retribution for level 6. And I just left my level 6 how it is, and I'll see what happens.
Mm.
So the one thing that's interesting about these faction ones, and like if you think back to when they had the Empire faction ones, and there were some really great ones from that side. You could use them in a lot of different teams because you could split Empire. You had a number of Empire teams. You really need like 3 Sith Datacrons and one, well, probably 2 and 3v3 for Night Sisters, and you only need a couple for Old Republic. So you don't really need a lot of the 6s. Like, this is where it's going to be interesting to see how people kind of build out their Datacron sets, because you don't really need to go past 5.
This reminds me a lot of the Datacron set that gave you 20% turn meter.
Yeah.
For each whatever dark side character it was. Yep. Because I re-rolled so many Datacrons to get that specific Datacron. Because in GAC it was an absolute nightmare if you had like, you were either behind the turn meter train or you used it on offense. And you used troopers and just pummeled someone.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this set of Datacrons, speed is going to be not so much of a factor, because you can tailor your Datacrons to so much defense that as long as you return and your mods are good, you should be able to overcome some of the speed deficiencies you may have. For Old Republic guys, to be honest, this confuses the shit out of me, because like, who the fuck in GAC is running an Old Republic complete team? Like, I don't. And
someone not in Kyber 1 or 2 who still puts Karth Old Republic on defense because their opponent doesn't have OG Kylo to solo them.
But the thing is, are some of these going to be like, when I first saw this for Old Republic, I'm thinking, okay, is this finally going to make Jedi Master Luke a little bit better? Is this going to help him, considering you do have elements, or can put elements of Old Republic in that team? Normally, the typical team is Jedi Knight Revan and Jolee. Now, you might want to take out Hermit Yoda for Bastila.
I think the way that you approach that set for the Old Republic is you put Jolee with JML, and every time you use the Master's training, like whatever the special move is, you call Jolee to assist.
Yep.
And if you have the level 6 Datacron where Old Republic allies defeat enemies and they can't be revived.
I got that. That was one I actually liked. Yep, I put that down.
Then you just call Jolee every time, and every time the damage will be based on JML's protection, so it won't matter. And then you can just take out characters that could maybe revive, right? And but that's so situationally specific that it's not that awesome, right?
It's not. But then I glanced at and really liked the give 10% TM whenever a buff is granted, and my first thought went to Bastila.
Well,
or Yoda.
One of my favorite teams in the game is Knight Revan lead, Knight Luke, Bastila, Hermit Yoda, and Old Ben. The old Slicker team. That is a great use of that Datacron of that team right there, because and Avant, and I actually didn't even think about this either. If you put that 10% turn meter on the JML team and you put Yoda there, when Yoda spreads the buffs, that should hit him there as well. That should hit over to Jolee, and actually, because it's only an Old Republic
all Jedi.
Oh, it's what an Old Republic ally grants it. Okay,
yeah,
it's not,
okay.
It's just not
that's why I'm
granted to them. Okay,
would really, because of how many buffs she's granting,
right?
It's just going to fill somebody's turn meter completely.
So you're basically just going to put Bastila with JML and Jolee, and then let that be a squad with 2 other trash Jedi, and then you've got your Jedi Revan and Jedi Knight Luke who can punch up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I found the Retribution one to be interesting, and I immediately thought of Canderous and a Maul team.
Yeah.
That could be, that's an interesting element added, because, I mean, they're already getting so many turns, and, I mean, Canderous is shooting nonstop to begin with.
And again, that's another character that if you didn't bring him up because of the Datacron, 6 months ago or whatever that was, you're probably bringing him up right now for the raid teams from that side. So he's probably doing some damage at this point.
If it wasn't for this damn raid, I don't think I ever would have brought Canderous to Relegate. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think I ever would. Oh, I definitely wouldn't have put Armor or any of the other Mandos to Relegate. That's for sure. Jesus Christ. That was a nightmare. So, on from Old Republic, we have Night Sisters. Now, man, I feel these are. I think
it's roster dependent. It's roster dependent.
It is. A lot of these are going to be out of
these.
reach. A lot of these are out of reach for me, but there are some decent ones in here.
It's good if your Night Sisters are all Relic 5 and you're willing to take one of them to Relic 7.
Like the Revive, 25% protection, 25% turn meter.
The Marin one and the Zombie one are both very, very good.
Yes. That with a high defense or crit damage. I'm thinking if you have that Night Sister Cron, you're going to open a whole new opportunity for your Slicker to counter Lord Vader.
So I was so close to being able to take out Jabba with Marin before this Datacron.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh,
it's going to be done. I think it's going to be a no-brainer at that point.
That's true. Yeah. Holy shit! Yeah,
I don't have Marin up yet. She's at 4 stars, but I'm looking forward to watching some of the content creators counter Jabba with Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't do it, and it will be satisfying to watch someone else do it.
Do you think this is gonna because the Slicker counter against Vader does work, but sometimes RNG gets the better of you. This is just gonna make that so much, I think, more assured.
Yeah, the way that I look at GAC right now, because I was playing around with the Afra team against Jabba. Like it all comes down to how are you going to handle Jabba right now? Because if you can do it with an off meta, everybody else steps down a tier. So now all of a sudden you've got Kenobi available to go after Lord Vader if that's the way that you want to go after, or he might have had to go after Jabba from that standpoint. And now all of a sudden you're taking a character one step up the ladder against kind of one step down on their side, and that's why I think this Marin thing is going to be such a big difference at again to the folks that have her at that point. But over the next 4 months, I think a lot of people are going to have her. I think is kind of where it's going to chase out from that side. So,
Ally defeated a Revive, 2 stacks of Plague. I think with Marin, that's just going to be absolutely just like teams are just going to melt. They're just going to absolutely melt.
Yeah.
If you have a 7-star Marin, and she's in relics, that Cron, that's dirty.
Yep.
That Cron's nasty.
Small tangent here. I just played Jedi Fallen Order for the first time like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I finished it last night. And Marin in SWGOH, her kit is awesome. I love her kit so much. Mm-hmm. After playing the game, so good. So good.
So is she a huge part of the game or just shows up?
A small part. But like
but it was important.
Her special ability where she like draws the thing up out of the ground. Super cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, I never played it.
It's really fun.
She's a huge part of Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
I know this is a little off topic, but they just announced the new Outlaw open world game, and Kyle Katarn is in it. I didn't realize it, and then there's memes now of showing that it's him. So
That's pretty
is that
exciting.
him, or is that because I thought when I saw that they called that guy somebody else in the video? That doesn't really mean anything, and also my memory is terrible. So,
well, mind you, my attention to detail is nil. So I'm just re-sharing what people are saying, and it looked almost identical to him. But I just
It
really did. It really did.
People have not played Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. It is available on the PlayStation. If you've never played it, you should, because that is a great game, and you are Kyle Katarn through the entire game.
Yeah.
So there was another. There was two other for Night Sister. Kind of meh. If you get it, it could work. It could be decent. I did like the Retribution one. If you have a high potency DACA, that's some stuns, because she does potentially stun more than once.
The problem with the Night Sister factions are the most you're ever going to need are 2. Period. You get the 2 that you need for 3v3, or for 2 teams in 3v3, and you're done. Which means we're all going to be rolling like 3 out of 4 are going to be the Night Sisters at the level 6, because we just don't need it. That's just the way that RNG kind of works right now. So
yeah. There was one for ability block. It's not bad. It's a nice addition because it's not really a part of any Night Sister kit. I don't think there's any Night Sister out there that actually does ability block. So.
I think DACA does. Maybe. I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong. Let me look it up while you're talking.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, because when I read that, I went, does a Night Sister even do ability block? I just thought that might be an interesting addition, because if you can get the stuns and ability block, that could really hamper a team and slow them up.
That's they've used that ability though before, haven't they? Like that was part of the. I thought it was like maybe the Scoundrel kit, where it was like, days if they don't have days, block if they don't have block. I seem to think that was like a reused level 6 from somewhere else.
That was from the Droidcron.
Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so there's no ability block with DACA, so I will stand corrected. But there is stun in both Asajj and DACA's kits, but no ability block.
Yeah, and again, I think with that Retribution with Night Sisters, that is not a bad option. If that's not the one you want and that's the one you get, that I wouldn't necessarily write that off.
Yeah, it would be very annoying to like have half your team stunned.
Yeah. So let's move on to the tunes. We'll start with Sith. To be 100% honest, I'll let you guys take over from here. I didn't really see much. I mean, Lobster Trooper could be decent in a Hux lead. I mean, the stealth thing he does is, I guess, okay. Well, what do you guys think on Sith? I mean, the only 3 I had picked out was Lobster Trooper, Savage, and believe it or not, I think if Sith Assassin is modded right, you get that bonus turn hitting under protection. You could smoke somebody.
But that's just so much work remodding her. So is it really worth it?
I knew somebody was going to call me out on that. I knew somebody was.
No, I mean it's I agree, but it's just like, oh, you gotta change up your template, and it's.
I know, for such a outdated tune.
Yeah.
I probably won't be chasing any Sith level 9 Datacrons, because Darth Maul's is trash.
Yeah.
Talon's is okay, but I'm not going to take her to 7. She's at 5.
Yep.
The only 2 that kind of intrigue me are Sith Empire Trooper and Savage Opress. And
Savage I like.
I like Savage, but I have him at R5.
Same here.
Yeah.
I like Sith Empire Troopers because he's a Leviathan requirement, and it makes sense. Like, if you roll it, then you have it.
Yep, it's true.
And that's about the extent of my level of engagement with that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And actually, the first R9 that I rolled was Sith Empire Trooper, and the first chance I get, I'm going to roll out of it, because again, 100% offense on a character who hits for 3,000 isn't that great. But again, if you can get it on a team, it helps. That Savage 25%. What is it? 25% turn meter up. Or no, you take 25%.
Whenever he deals damage to an enemy, remove 25% turn meter from that enemy.
So I think with the retribution, I think that could be a little interesting, especially if he's just kind of chipping away at a tank at that point, because he's doing all the counters that way. But there's not a lot there.
No, nothing. And so this is why I like this Datacron set, because there are not level 9 Datacrons that make you go, oh, God, I'm going to be up shit creek if I don't get that one.
Yep.
Right? Like the Chupiocron, everyone was like, oh my God, this is so good. I need to get this. And I was like, I don't want to take Chupio from 5 to 7. So I didn't. And I struggled against those Chupiocrons. They were dirty. But
they were ruthless.
Yeah.
This set is, I don't know, the Sith ones don't really like seem OP, right?
There's nothing out there that really jumps out at you.
They seem good and it will boost a squad, but it's not going to be like, oh my God, I need to like really come in strong with my squad.
Well, now that we've discussed Sith, there's a couple of things in Old Republic that I went, wow. If I had it, I'd be happy, but I don't, so I'm not going to sweat it. Bastila I do have, obviously because of the Leviathan requirements. Bastila's is pretty damn, that's her tune, but the one for OR is OR allies gain 50% TM, protection up 200%. Old Republic tanks taunt for 1 turn. Yeah, no, that's Bastila's, my bad. So yeah, 50% TM, protection up 200%, tanks taunt for 1 turn. While protection up, they get 150% tenacity and plus 35% damage. I'll take that. Now,
as long as they fix it.
That was my question. I heard something about that, Pico, and could you clarify that for not just me, but also the audience?
Yeah.
What is broken on that?
So this is something we have all done. All right. So this literally is essentially Bastila's leader ability. But they put it on a Datacron so you can use it when she's not in the leader spot. But what they did is they went into the code and they copied her leader ability with the tag leader on it. So the Datacron is tagged as only working when she's in the leader slot as well. So the assumption is that it was a mistake. And again, we've all taken that one extra line, probably where you called your boss an asshole that you didn't mean to actually put in that email when you pasted it into an email or something like that. So I think the question is, are they going to fix this in the next content update? And if they fix it in the next content update, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. If not, I mean, you gave me her leadership ability twice. That's cool, I guess.
Does it double or anything? Does it double the stats or anything like that?
I don't think so.
No.
That would be cool. I mean, it'd be worth it then if you double.
Oh, yeah.
30% turn meter and 400% protection up. That would be pretty.
That's pretty juicy. I'll take that all day. That's like your Jedi Master Luke. Almost like that's. I mean, good luck chewing through that.
Yeah. You will see a resurgence of Bastila, JML, and Watt, and people will be like, "God damn it!"
I thought we got past this.
The map got cut in half,
and then I come in with Solo Slicker, and it still works.
Yeah. So the next one, oh my God, I read this and went, what? And I mean, mine's still only gear 12, so it's not obviously nothing I'm gonna sweat for the next 4 months, but it would be
Salbar?
No, Mission Vow.
Oh, okay.
On basic, allies gain 25% turn meter, and she does basics how often?
But okay, so let me read it for you because I have it pulled up. Whenever a mission uses a basic ability on their turn, which is poor wording, it's on her turn, CG, other allies gain 25% turn meter. So basically, when it's mission's turn, if you do a basic, everyone else gains 25% turn meter.
So it doesn't matter if she assists.
But you're always using her basic unless you're trying to blind someone.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a lot of turn meter still.
That's a ton of turn meter.
Yeah.
And the other thing I liked about it is that if you have her in relics, or especially that high, and you also have Zalbar, they're both scoundrels. So again, you could, and considering how big the scoundrel faction is, you're going to see some teams out there that are going to do some work with that Kron.
3v3? Absolutely. You're going to see Mission and Zalbar with either Bando or Kira or Dash. That would be pretty awesome.
What about a non-leader ability Hondo and just put the three of them together? Because you can't target Hondo, Mission goes in Viz, and you're just beating on Zalbar, and he's just countering you to death.
And Hondo is just extorting everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that'd be pretty.
I'm not going to chase this one, but if I'd land it, my plan in 5v5 is put her on a Tarful team with Zalbar and see what happens there.
Yep.
So again, we'll give it a wing and see what happens that way. But we'll see if it's any good.
Yeah.
If you get that, you should put that in your bottom front sector so that people have to pick something that they think will beat it, but they're not sure of.
Like, no, seriously, no shit. They're going to look at that, and they're literally going to stare at their phone for the next 20 minutes, scratching their head. Because they know if they go to SWGOH.gg, they're not going to see shit on it. And they're just gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, they're going to use a landline to call a buddy to be like, what do I do here?
And then they'll waste some OP squad and get to the back zone and be like, shit, I wasted gas. I shouldn't have wasted gas.
Well, probably CLS or something to take it out.
Yeah. So quick segue. Let me tell you guys what it's like to face me in GAC. So I like playing 5v5. I hate 3v3. So I tend to work my way up. Like I was at the start of last week, I was in the top 200 for 5v5. And so I ended up going, I think, 7-2. I will go 2-7 in 3v3. So I will drift my way down to the bottom of Kyber 1. So what happens is when 5v5 rolls around, I get matched up with a lot of people that climb their way back into Kyber 1 that all of a sudden are like, why am I facing an all-7 Tarful team? And what the hell do I do with it?
Yeah.
And again, I pick on them up through like 6-0, and then I fight my way back up to where the people are really good, and they slap my face down, and I roll my way back through again. So
it's just, there's no answer. There's no data. There's nothing to go on with that. There's nothing. Like, you look at that and go, first thought, can I womp it? Read the kit. That won't work. Fuck it. We'll just gas it.
Yeah.
Because that's everybody's response. We're either going to tray it or we're going to gas it. And then later on, as Avant said, oh shit, you need that team later. Oops. So that was Old Republic. Night Sisters has some interesting ones. I want to mention the zombie first.
Yep.
Again, loses taunt, Night Sisters loses taunt, remove 50% turn meter.
So much turn meter.
Oh my god. Like, again, this is going to be the answer for those people that struggled with that protection up Kron on Lord Vader.
Yeah.
This is that answer.
So, can you remove turn meter from Lord Vader? Isn't he immune to turn meter manipulation?
Can't remove turn meter from Lord Vader, but the biggest problem with Lord Vader is that with that Kron, you need to decimate his supporting cast as quickly as possible to focus him down.
Understood. Okay.
And I speak from experience. If you lose anybody before you've nailed any of his team, that fight's pretty much over.
It's over, yeah.
Yeah. So great, you're going up against Vader team with Thrawn on it. Thrawn fractures, zombie. All of a sudden, their team just stumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget the number of characters that have like random dispels on things. Or what's even better is, super slow zombie, and all of a sudden zombie's taunt just expires on his own, and you lose 50% turn meter because nothing happened. That's just garbage that way.
And
now make things interesting.
And now I'm starting to see a third sister on Vader teams, a Lord Vader team.
Yep.
That is no fun to deal with.
No.
That is obnoxious. I think it's a waste, personally, but...
Yeah, but how annoying is it?
Oh, my God. You hammer away at Reva, and then the bitch comes back, and Lord Vader's got all this bonus protection. You're banging your head up against this impenetrable wall of bullshit. It's just nonsense. Marin's is good, but again, Pico, what do you think? I think you're probably the only one here on the panel that actually has Marin and relics.
I love it. So
so her plague from the combined level 6. Jesus Christ.
So I'm pulling up Marin right now. I want to look at my Marin at R7, and I have 4 potency sets and a health set. So I don't have any offense sets, although I think I've got some offense primaries. And her special offense is 10,000. So you start stacking 2,000 offense on that, or 20% offense on that. Every time that somebody dies. What I think it's really interesting with this team, and I know Fatal talked about it with the Jabba team, and I've been trying to play around with it a little bit. You don't bring zombie. Because in this case, you do want people to start dying really quickly, you can start bringing them back, and so you can start kind of cycling through on that. But I think it's going to be great. That's the one that I want. I don't like spending crystals on Datacron stuff, but I will if I don't have it kind of as we're kind of pushing into 5v5, I'll start chasing it with reroll mats.
That makes sense.
So. I just think it's going to be a fun one. And again, if PvP keeps going the way that it is, I'll do one fight and it will be with them, and then I'll let the other guy win, and we'll call it a day from that side. But I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
All right. So I will start to wrap this category up with reroll priorities. Really, the level 3, the 15%. I mean, again, I think the stats in this one are pretty good, that if you get decent RNG and they're randomized pretty well, you may end up getting quite a few crons that you're just like, no, I'm good with that. I'm not going to waste the resources.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Faction? Nah. I mean, if there's something you're really set on, yeah, but again, I think in this set you're going to see a lot less level 9s, and you're going to see more quality of level 3s and possibly stats. And for tunes, I mean, the only 3 that's not really on my shopping list is Bastila, Night Sister Zombie, and Savage. That's really it. I don't have Marin, so I'm not even going to sweat it. Those are the 3. What about Avant? What about you? What's your shopping list looking like?
My level 9 shopping list is going to be Bastila and maybe Sith Empire Trooper, and I am going to be so poor with relic materials that I'm not going to focus on any of the characters because I'm going for Leviathan.
Yeah,
I don't care about this Datacron set. I'm going to go for Leviathan.
Yeah. Same here. Bob, what about you, man? Now that you've kind of heard everything about this set, what do you like? And are you gonna go after some crons? What are you gonna do?
Usually I go for like 6 to 8 to about level 6, just for generic ones, because like I said, there's not a lot that I have that I can put towards that. Maybe like he said, maybe the Bastila one's the only one that I might go for, especially with Leviathan. What's her requirement have to be? Is it level R5?
7.
You have to take her to 7 anyways?
For Leviathan, yeah.
Yeah. So,
which one was this? Bastila?
Yeah, doesn't she have a Datacron? Yeah, Bastila?
Yeah, no, Bastila has to be relic 7 for Leviathan, so yeah, if you have her at 7, then yeah, if you roll that cron, and
that's why I'm going to go for that one, just because out of convenience.
Because I'm already going, I'm already taking her to R7 very soon, so I might as well go for that anyways. So that's probably the only one I'll be going for.
Right now, that's my first and only level 9 cron right now. I was lucky enough that I rolled Bastila.
Oh, cool.
And it's not going to be game breaking, right? But it'll be like a good boost if they debug it.
But I have no use for her, so now I can pull her out and mess around with the different teams. So, well, actually, 3v3, I have a team with her. It's her, Old Ben, and Jolie, and there's no offense, but it's a pain in the ass for people to get through.
I think that will be actually a good squad for you in your GAC bracket. People will be definitely frustrated with that team
all the time. Yeah, it's great, especially in the back row. It's pretty nice.
Especially people who've kind of depleted their rosters and look at that and go, God damn it.
Yep.
Why can't I beat this goddamn squad?
It's like the Ewok lead Geonosians. I love that team. That was such a fun team.
Wait, Geonosians.
Have you ever tried it?
Chirpa and the Geos, right?
Yeah, Chirpa lead with Geos, and it's just if you can get them going, like it's insane. You can catch people off guard. But mine aren't relic at all or anything, so I don't really use that anymore.
Pico, what's your shopping list looking like for this set?
Yeah, Basila, Savage, Marin, probably the opposite order of that. And then if I can run across Mission, I'll take a shot at it. But I just, even though I've got a lot of the characters at R7, there's just no use for them. I mean, it's like the Canderous one. Awesome, there's another Canderous Datacron. Oh, it's got to be under an Old Republic lead. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's, again.
Well, was that one for Canderous? Was that's only Old Republic that wouldn't work in a multi?
No, I think it's the Canderous one said he's got to be under a lead.
I'll tell you, if Canderous has an Old Republic ally in the leader slot at the start of battle.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah,
I misread that.
Damn so you're gonna have to put him with Karth.
Yeah.
Oh no. God.
So
no.
get out your Relic 5 Karths, said no one.
I just think that some people will pull the trigger on these Old Republic. Some whales are gonna do it. I think that's just bait to get them to do it.
How convenient that Caw picked. We're gonna go on hiatus for this Datacron set.
Yeah,
this is like the worst one yet, right?
I mean, the stats are good. I actually think the stats are decent. You can make some really good crowns out of this, but
the Relic 9, the Relic 9s are not, or sorry, the level 9s are not what the other sets have been.
Yep.
And I kind of consider that a favor because now I don't have to really invest as much into Cron Quest as I normally would.
I think it's what the player base wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Look, I get the ask to have Datacrons bringing it off, an off meta counters and those things, but I'm okay with us not having massively overpowered level 9s and that can fundamentally change the game. I just want them to be fun and I can do cool things with them from time to time. Like I think the Mara Jade one is perfect. You can't really do anything different with Mara Jade than you could before that, but it's easier and it's a little bit more fun that way.
It makes her better to attack with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make her ridiculous when you put Mara Jade under EP on defense.
Yeah, it's so still beatable.
She's still beatable, but she's a better attacker.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone who enjoys GAC has always wanted. Don't give me some stupid shit that I have to overcome with a level 9 Datacron.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. Like the Dodge Crons. We all remember those. Yeah. Vader with 80% dodge and just, whiff sauce all day. And you lose and you just want to throw your phone. So.
I did a few times.
So now that we've ended this segment, for all you that are listening, please follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, check out our podcasts on Spotify, Anchor, check us out wherever you can. Also, please check out the Holotable News Network with PicoBurrito and Cele Xera. So the next topic, and I know Avant, you've been looking forward to this because I know you and Pico really do deep dives on this kind of stuff. So I'm going to let you take it away. For the next exciting segment of thrift shopping with Avant. So what do we got in the thrift store today?
Okay, so today's thrift shopping is themed around Leviathan and the Leviathan requirements. lots and lots of materials from the Java scavenger are needed. So I wanted to just quick go over how you can get those materials and not foolishly spend crystals or foolishly spend gear pieces that you shouldn't be salvaging. So a lot of these things you get passively, but you should be farming your stuff with your energy in some way. So let's just start from, if you go into the Java scavenger store, I guess you'll call it. We'll start on the left and we'll work our way to the right. Carbonite circuit boards. If you need material for this, light side normal 1C or 1D. This will give you lots and lots of pieces, like in multiples, for this type of salvage. You can also wait for, there's this pack that comes around for 500 crystals, where it's a gambling pack, and I never like to gamble with packs, but it's not money, it's crystals. So if you hoard up crystals, you can use those crystals. And it's 500, and I think you get somewhere between 100 to 250 or 300 pieces. And if I'm really short on circuit boards, every once in a while, I'll buy one or two of those.
Yeah, I buy these. I feel like it's easier just to buy the 900 crystal thing for 180.
It's very helpful because, like, when you get real short, it'll really boost your levels up. I'll buy like one or two, and I'll boost myself up over like 500 circuit boards, and it's good. And so that's circuit boards in a nutshell. Light side 1C, 1D on normal mode. Bronzium wirings, everyone's most popular bottleneck. Do not buy this 500 crystal pack when it comes around. So the crystal pack I'm talking about, they have it for each piece that you can get from the scavenger. The only ones worth it are the circuit boards and Zinbittles. Some people will tell you Zinbittles, maybe not. I think it's a decent deal, but definitely not the bronzium wirings. If you need bronziums, you need to be farming light side 7B, normal, which is the Chirotech node. Mm-hmm. And then you're getting multiple pieces of the Mark V data pads, and you need Chirotechs. So if you can spare it, you should be doing at least a 50 crystal refresh on the Cairo node and getting some of these, and you'll just constantly be getting an influx of bronzium wirings. If you can do more is better, but...
So what pieces do we need to be crafting? That's what I want to know.
That's coming up.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Next piece from the scavenger, chromium transistors. You do not need to salvage or sell anything. You need to be in the guild store, which it's the guild activity store. And if you scroll down to the fourth row, it'll be the first one on the left. There you will find a piece that will give you, it's your MK7 Blast Tech weapon mods. And you can buy 10 of them for like 100 or 150 guild credits, and it gives you 33 chromium transistors. This is a steal.
Yeah, very.
So literally every time the store refreshes, I will go to the guild store and I will see if those are available, and I will buy them. And so you're not getting this guild currency from the raids anymore, but you're going to use this currency that you get from like daily things. And then there's a couple other things you get it with, like TW, wins and losses. And you can use it there. And that's a really good use of that resource in that regard. So personally, I always have tons of chromium transistors, and I'm never short on them because I always buy these pieces.
Same here. So, the same thing.
Yep. Those are the MK7 Blast Techs, and it's a blue piece. So you'll look at it and think, oh, that doesn't look useful. It's very useful.
But the other one that I use there from time to time, especially if I can't find the Blast Techs, are the Mark 7 Maws. I think they're the rectangle shaped ones.
Yes, and you can fully craft them.
Yeah, and because the salvage for that seems to be one of those, like, I don't know if it's, I think the salvage pieces come out of the coin part of the featured shipments. So I have a big stockpile of them for some reason through over the years, and it's another one that's kind of added up for me.
Those are good, but the limitation with those, I'll get it pulled up here. Give me 1 second. Where's it at? So the limitation with those is when you go to craft them, it requires MK1 stun cuffs, and so you can run out of those.
Okay.
But yes, it has the same relative value as the piece that I buy in the store. So, but you have to fully craft them. It can't just be the salvage. It has to be the full MK7 BAW armor mods. So you have to craft the full mod, and then it will have very good value.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Why do I feel like I'm like prepping to go to the grocery store when I enter the guild activity store now?
You need a list, and you need to look through the store and make sure you buy it before anyone else does.
And that's the thing. You can actually go in, like when you're about to relic a character and you're converting stuff, pay attention to what every piece is worth and what it converts to. And that's where I learned. And some of the things that Yvonne has talked about, those are the pieces you really want to go after. And there's certain currencies that, again, you've been playing this game for a while. There's certain currencies you use for certain items.
Yeah.
Certain things. And again, it's a big gear economy game.
Once you do it for like 4 or 5 days, you'll scroll through the store and you'll be like, oh, I need that, I need that, I need that. And then you just scroll past all the other stuff and it's extraneous, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah, because everything else is a distraction. Everything else is, ooh, look at me. And you go, no, I could buy that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay the course.
Okay, so the scavenger, the next piece, Erodium heat sinks.
Oof, those goddamn things.
Literally, the only thing you should be spending on these is MK3 hollow projectors.
100%.
The fully crafted ones, though, not the salvage pieces, because the conversion rate is different. So go in, and if you don't have any fully crafted ones, you just click and hold on the fully crafted piece, and then craft pieces. So right now, I have over 1,000 of the salvage pieces.
Holy shit.
And it takes 20 per piece.
Yep.
And you just craft them. And so going back to like, how do I spend my my currency? Your guild store, you can buy those MK7 things to get your chromium transistors. You can also buy the hollow projector salvage pieces with that if you have an excess. And then if you really don't...
Those pieces you're converting, I buy those all the time.
And another thing you can do is with the new Crate Raid currency, the MK1, you can buy hollow projector salvage with that.
Yeah.
You can also buy Carbantes and stun guns and all that kind of stuff. But eventually you'll get to a point where you don't need more of those, and then you just start buying things to create salvage.
And it's important to note on the heat sinks is that all of the other items that you can craft, so like the full Carbani or the full stun cuffs, take 50 salvage pieces. The reason why the Mark IIIs are so important is that it only takes 20.
Yeah.
So it's 20 for 250 as opposed to 50 for 250. It's just a much better deal that way.
Way back before they did any of this guild or currency change stuff, I used to, like when it was just Ray and Slicker and I needed Erodium heat sinks, I would buy the Erodium heat sinks, or I'm sorry, not Erodium heat. I would buy the hollow projectors with crystals because it was 300 crystals for one. And then they kind of changed the gear economy, so it's all a moot point now. But yes, you need to be crafting the hollow projectors. That's the way for the Erodium heat sinks.
So Avant, we have a first-time chat. Fred Sion, thank you for coming
No,
by.
I was just about to mention that. He has a good question for you.
So good question here. He says, are any of the Bronzium, Chromium, or the Erodium daily deals ever worth it?
I have never bought one.
Me neither.
Neither have I.
I think that it depends on where you're at in the game, but like relative crystal value, I don't think it's very good. The whole point of them is that they put them in the front of the deals to try to lure you in, and I don't think they're good value.
Yeah, the only ones that I have ever purchased are, I get offered 7 arrow magnifiers for 1,600 crystals. But again, where I am, that's a relatively good value because I can't get arrow magnifiers anywhere else. Like that's the big piece for me. But otherwise than that, I haven't really seen it outside of every once in a while you'll kind of get a bluebird of like 100 shards of a character. But again, it's very, very specific that you need on that side. So
yeah, I have an issue with arrow magnifiers too. Yep.
Yeah, Bones, if there's any chat questions, let me know because I don't have chat pulled up right now. So
okay,
please interject.
No, we just saw that, and hey, thank you for the first time chat. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To all the new guys, thank you guys for coming by. It means a lot.
He said he has one offering 10 shock prods and 10 Nubians, 5 blue signal data, 5 MK3 ability mats, and 150k credits for 800 crystals.
You can get 25 shock prods for 700 crystals, so that's a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We normally do overpriced beer and hot wings, and normally on a smasher pass, I'm gonna say pass on that.
Yeah, it's a pass.
Yeah, it's definitely a pass.
Okay, next piece from the scavenger is the Electrium conductors, and the higher you get into relic characters, the more scarce you're going to get on these bad boys.
Mm-hmm.
And the best advice I have is craft the pieces to fully made pieces instead of salvage, and then give them to the scavenger. Because if you just give the salvage pieces, it gives you some, but if you take a fully crafted piece, you're taking the salvage plus the other purple gear required to make the full piece, and you're getting a lot more for your value. And so if all you do is ever give the salvage instead of the fully crafted pieces, you're going to end up with an excess of that purple gear, and it's just going to sit there and do nothing for you. So you might as well fully craft them and then get more for your gear and get more Electrium conductors. Zinbiddle cards.
CG,
grind them out. grind them out. And they're hard because Gear 12 Plus pieces are so valuable, and you feel trashy farming them just to salvage them.
Yeah.
That's where my raid currency goes. Those impulse detectors and Zinbiddle cards.
And so that's why you use your new raid currency, the MK2, and buy whatever you need to salvage. And then also, if you have crystals, like the 500 crystal pack gives you 4 to 12 Zinbiddle cards for 500 crystals.
That's actually not a bad deal, to be honest. It's really not. For 500 crystals, you could score big.
I bought 4 of them 2 days ago.
Told me this. That's right.
And I got 8, 8, 12, and 4, which I feel very happy about.
Oh yeah, that's a really good spin.
And of course I got 8, 8, and 12, and I was like, ooh, I could do one more. Here's 4.
Yeah, well, CJ had to, give you the fuck you at the end.
Classic gambling check. Oh yeah, let's
get real. And then the higher ups at CG went, whoa, that guy.
Let's get him hyped. Get him hyped. Yeah. Crash.
Yeah, let's crash him back down to earth.
Gonna split those kings in front of me in blackjack.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm feeling it.
You go all in with pocket kings, and your opponent has pocket aces. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the dealer throws out blackjack and just
yeah.
Okay, impulse detectors. Same thing. You got to use your new raid currency. Buy this stuff, salvage it. It's gonna feel real dirty just buying it to give it to the Jawa. But if you want Relic 8 and Relic 9, that's the necessary evil. Gear to keypads. You can do the same thing, but I personally have been using the new raid currency with the MK3 and buying gear to keypads with it. And I'm going to have to do like a little stat crunch or stat conversion to take a peek at that, but I feel like that's the best thing to do.
Do you feel like, though, and question for you, Avant, for those keypads, is that something that a player should look at only when they're looking to make that jump from a tune from 8 to 9?
Yes.
Like, is that something they shouldn't even sweat at the moment until they get to that point they want to make that leap?
Do you know how many keypads I have right now?
I have no, I know
15. I have 15 because I'm going to build up 40 for my Leviathan requirements, and then I will build up more when I want to take someone to R9, but I'm not going to stash them just because they cost so much. The value of what you have to give up for them is so steep. And me as a free to play, I'm not going to put value into stocking something I'm not going to use.
So let me throw another variation of that out. What are your thoughts on keeping 20 in reserve? And that might not be spend everything to get to 20, but look, every raid cycle I'm going to pull into every because we can also get it as part of the TB cycle. Maybe every TB cycle I'm going to pull in 3 so that I'm sitting on 20 so that if and when the next set of requirements come in, I don't have to worry about farming those up. I'm ready to take 1 to 9.
That would be better planning.
Yeah. And the only reason for that is because you're pulling them out of the shop, you're time bound. You can only get it so many times, and if it's one of those, if you sleep in on a Saturday and you miss 3 of your stores, you only get 2 of your stores. That kind of sets you back a little bit further from that side. So
this also depends on your level of PvP, because if you're in Kyber 2 and Kyber 3, your opponent doesn't have a ton of R9s.
Yeah.
So you don't need to have a stash of keypads to get R9s. But if you're in like the higher PvP end, like where you're at, then it makes more sense to have that like rainy day stash. But if you're like below Kyber 2, that doesn't. It's not really a top priority. I think there's better ways to spend your resources.
Fair enough.
I'd rather take more tunes to relic level than stash some keypads.
Sure.
Yep, I had 20
just for depth of roster
saved up, and then I knew the Darth Revan thing was coming anyway. I know Pico and I had talked about it, but I had to put Revan to 9, and now I'm sitting on 9.
Yeah,
I had 29, now I got 9. That's it.
And that'll wrap it up for thrift shopping, scavenger edition.
Outstanding. So every episode we're going to be doing this thrift shopping with Avant. He's going to have very good info for you guys on where to put your hard-earned resources. So please stay tuned for that segment. Very informative. Avant always does his homework and has really good stuff.
Yes, sir.
The last quick topic I want to hit on before we go to viewer questions, and to be honest, I take no credit. I was lunchtime at work, and I just happened to hit up YouTube, and I saw that our friend, he's been on here. I know Pika knows him. Celiac Sarah does Create Expectations with him, but Zareth Prevails. Zareth had put out a video about a few things that have been data mined, and I found it very interesting. He has an opinion backed up by some pretty good evidence that the next GL could be upon us, and it very well could be Endor Leia. Zareth had put out that 3 marquees had been data mined. There was also some Bad Batch packs. There was also Ewok packs, Ewok bundles. So what do you guys think about this? Are we on that time frame? Is this a lovely moment where CG throws us a capital ship and drains our resources and then looks for a big GL payday. I'll let anybody kick off the topic. What do you guys think? Does this argument hold? Is what Zareth said hold some water? And is this going to happen?
What is it about Bad Batch that makes people think it's Leia?
Well, no, it's just that was another thing that was data mined, that there was going to be some packs for Bad Batch, but I think CG is still going to do that because people are still trying to get Lord Vader.
Well, here's my thing. I think they're throwing a curveball because they've heard this for 6 months now that we expect Endor Leia. Now, mind you, I think that it makes the most sense. It's the anniversary. Leia deserves to be a GL. Like, let's be real, but don't be surprised if all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's something else, because we all guessed Jabba. They could throw you a curveball. They could just be putting that in there to make you get some Ewok packs.
But I feel like there's so much going in the game right now. You've got Leviathan, you've got Cal, you've got Jedi Survivor Cal. These events are due to hit. We're due for a Leviathan kit, I would think, pretty soon. These come out week or two later. Why not, CG? Why not draw? Hey, I mean, wasn't it? Again, aren't we kind of in? I mean, no one can claim that CG is consistent with, predictably consistent, but it just kind of makes sense. And if 3 new marquees have been data mined, something's coming, and everyone is going to be spent on resources. Absolutely, just we're so broke we can't afford to pay attention.
It's very plausible.
So let me ask the question. If you're out of resources and they drop a galactic legend, does it matter?
No.
Because it's always going to be there. Like that's the same thing. It's kind of, let's look at Leviathan and Galactic Legends differently than we look at Cal, because Cal's time bound, and that's the big, where the big like resource drain comes into place. But if the plan is to release a Galactic Legend, one, we've got a 6 month run, or not a 6 month run. We've got a 3 month run probably before we see it. It'll be a fall character is when it comes out, but it's going to be there at your pace. And we saw this for a lot of people that when Jabba hit, and not everybody had him day one. And yes, there were the haves and the have-nots, but frankly, the haves and the have-nots kind of broke up in the way that it was the folks in the top end of K1 that had him and that were dealing with it. And yeah, there were folks that got pushed out that way. Look, I went 9-0 the first month that I had Jabba, only because I could put him in front and no one else had him there. Like, I took full advantage of that. But this is a pattern. Like, the least surprising thing of Galactic Legend Leia being released is that we're getting a Galactic Legend. We just get one in the fall now. That's kind of the way that's always aligned to from that side. I do think it's hard. If it's not, man, if it's not, I don't. It's starting to look weird that it's not at this point.
I think the bigger question is not, is it going to be GL Leia, but you know how they map stuff out. They brought out Jabba, and the whole point of Jabba was that he was needed for TB because he has nodes through TB. You needed him for the crate raid. So once the crate raid gets old, you're going to have the next iteration of the raid. And then the next OP squad is going to be what?
Slave Leia.
If it's Endor Leia, it's going to be the Death Star raid. Yep. Right? And I mean, that excites me.
Why do you get that from that, though? I mean, she doesn't have a ship or anything.
Well, because it's going to be thematic, right? So the next raid could be Death Star raid, and it's going to be like Return of the Jedi squads. So like
I think
Rebel
people
fighters.
Would shit. I mean, how long have we been asking for the Red 5 and the Red? People would shit, and
but I mean,
bring people back as well.
That would be really cool, and I would enjoy that very much. Yeah. And I do think it will be Rebel or Endor Leia. I think we should speculate about what the marquees are going to be, because I have one that I'm very excited if they release it. it will maybe make me want to spend.
I'm telling you right now, if the first marquee, which would totally let the cat out of the bag, if it's Old Man Endor Rex, I'm dropping dollars. I'm dropping dollars. I'm sorry.
The character that would excite me more than Endor Rex would be Nine Numb.
Oh, I'd be down.
Shit.
I'd be down for that.
That's a hot take.
I would love Nine Numb in the game. In fact, if you're Discord friends with me, my picture.
Yeah.
And there's one Ewok missing in the game as well that they could make.
Yeah.
And that's Teak.
Okay.
And
From the Ewok movie.
And that's another thing that leads me to really think that it's going to be Endor Leia, because if you look at the rest of the entire roster of this game, if they want to implement another legend, what is left that people have not really invested in?
Ewoks. Yep. Ewoks.
They are absolute shit.
And maybe some shit like Rebels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Luke.
there's I mean, other than Pico wanting to do Phoenix, what other real shit squads are out there that people have not really put a lot of time in? I mean, there's still quite a few players that haven't invested in their Geos.
Lobot.
Most of the player base have not put shit into their Ewoks. And a lot of people, again, other than Pico, are not even sweating Phoenix. So
it'd be cool to have an indoor Luke as well. They kind of be like that'd be her lifter. Her lifter
Or like
would be that.
a Captain Han Solo, like or not Captain Han from Hoth, but like
Han, like in the camo jacket when they put his hand on Endor, he's wearing like that trench coat.
And so like Endor Han, Nine Numb, Scout Trooper.
You could do an AT-AT driver or the ATST driver.
Yeah.
One, could we please get the Han Solo where he basically walks out onto Endor in like the black pants and a white shirt and a vest and something? Like, you cannot go out in the woods like that. It's like, great, give me a duster. And he just puts like a jacket on and it doesn't really blend in. It's just like, this will never do.
I have the figure of that one actually. It's funny.
What I was thinking is we're talking about this, and again, where's the game going to go? How cool would it be? Like, we got that mid-cycle counter for the Executor when they did the First Order stuff. Like, what if they brought in the A-Wing and the B-Wing, and all of a sudden it turned Akbar's ship into like the counter for the Leviathan in like 6 to 9 months? Because again, those are, I know everyone wants Red 5, and I don't know, I have opinions on that, but we don't have an A-Wing, we don't have a B-Wing, and those were like the coolest things in the world. When I was,
love
like,
the B-Wing, man. That's
the
my
B-Wing
number one. That's my
the
number
B-Wing
one.
is super cool.
I had the toy. It was cool.
I remember when I was a kid, I had that as a toy, and it was one of the coolest Star Wars ships they had.
Yeah. Cool. I agree.
They could also bring in the Mantis. The Mantis would be pretty cool.
All right, now I gotta look that one up because I'm forgetting which one the Mantis was.
That's from Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe I didn't remember that because I definitely that's an awesome ship. That's a phenomenally great ship from that size.
So cool. The little like arm, how it like built.
Who pilots it? Is it a
Seer Junda?
Okay.
Seer in Grease, like an 8-armed weird alien dude.
Well, that could definitely happen. For sure, even soon.
Yeah,
but I definitely think Zareth was kind of onto something when he did his video about 3 marquees. All of a sudden, they're gonna start dropping some Ewok packs. I mean, it's
what would be great is if they're gonna do Leia, let's get a couple of characters for her squad. We'll figure out who else slots onto that.
Yeah.
But let's get an Ewok lifter with this as well that's completely separate. Let's not try and attach an Ewok to Leia. And let's get 2 really good teams coming out of that we can just go have fun with from that side. So
it would be fun to elevate Ewoks.
It would. Yeah. It would, because they're absolute trash.
Like, if they could somehow have, like, anti-Imperial synergy where they could just, like, completely stun and kill Stormtroopers and, like, somehow kill Starkiller. Like,
So it would be like equivalent to, when someone has like 10 chihuahuas and she just starts sicking like you just sicken Ewoks on people. I would be down. It'd be kind of memeable, but I still wouldn't be mad about that. Seeing her just having Ewoks just running over people like crazy.
Only if Wicket hits himself in the face.
Yeah, you got to do the whole thing.
Okay, how come that's okay, but Jar Jar isn't? It's the same thing.
Because it's fucking Jar Jar, and we're not going there.
Moving on.
But you've got to figure it'll be Old Man Rex, it'll be Duster Han, and then somebody in that mix would be my
Nine.
Also, I mean, I want a Scout Trooper. Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite Stormtroopers. I love the way they looked and everything. So we don't have one of those either.
And that's the funny thing. Scout Troopers are actually already in the game. They just got to give them a kit.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of feels like if they put Scout Trooper in, you make them an Imperial Remnant, and you finally actually finish off the Moff Gideon Imperial Remnant team that is just terrible.
And give them minus 40% accuracy.
Yeah, because like the Marquis aren't required to be light side, right? They can come out with dark side that uplift other ones. So it doesn't necessarily have to be directly tied to her. It's probably just like Return of the Jedi. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Make them point their scout pistol at you and just completely miss every time.
And when they fight against Bam, you can punch Yoda in the little baby Yoda in the sack.
Like, if they happen to punch Bam, he instantly dies because they hit the baby.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah. So let's move on into some of our user questions and comments, because there was actually some really good ones in there, and then we will.
Yeah, let's do it.
Up. And again, people, please follow us on Twitch. Help us out. Every follower helps, gets us to affiliate. Once we hit affiliate, we are going to have some exciting things for people that subscribe and different things we're going to do. Like I said, the old man will embarrass himself by doing an impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger for a segment, or Watto for a segment, or no, I'm not doing fucking Jar Jar. You better have like 100 subscribers for that.
50 subs, baby. Come on, guys. You know you want it. Torture this man. Torture him.
But no, I'd like to get to the point where we do some, gift cards for subscribers and things like that. So stay tuned, folks. A lot more good stuff is coming. So what do we got for viewer questions?
I'm going to leave that to you, man. Or who wants to do it? Because I can't click off.
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
I've got it. Shit, where is it? That would be under comments and questions.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
No little hobbit. So when I did the episode thing, okay. So just trying to get the date here right. Today's the 15th. I put that out a couple days ago. So
this is this is a little random, but most of us wouldn't even be right here if it wasn't for Paul from Escape Podcast, and he just got out of surgery, so he was good. I just wanted to say that.
He did?
He just posted it. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, well, I hope he's doing well.
I just saw it on Discord, so I just wanted to say that because a lot of people here know Paul.
Prayers to Paul from the Escape Podcast. Let's hope he's resting comfortably and doing well.
He's smiling.
Yeah.
He's over there smiling, so it looks like everything went well. So
one of the first Star Wars podcasts I listened to was his podcast with him and Scotty. So, yeah.
Yep, he's the reason I'm here. But I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Oh no, you're good. I'm just trying to get myself situated. One person, I can't remember who, had a really interesting question. It was about the time management thing about the game. But
oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, do you remember that one? I'm trying to find it. I mean,
let's come together sometime and try to figure out how we can organize these questions.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the thread in our Discord server gets a little bit jumbled with.
It does, because other people throw in comments, that's
it's usually me talking something stupid.
So Sternbach from the Good Morning Korriban show, actually, I don't know if it was a question or more of a comment. He said, I'm curious, because, and again, it doesn't shock me because he's a diehard First Order fan. Sternbach says, I'm curious how Finalizer will do against Leviathan. Odds are it will get obliterated. But Kylo Ren's shuttle has that sneaky ability that removes turn meter on enemy reinforcements. Could be an effective block against the new Mark 6 reinforcement insta-kill. That's not a bad thought.
It makes more sense because isn't that fleet somewhat more new than what Profundity is?
The Finalizer?
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other one with Scythe. Never mind.
Well, no, the First Order fleet I know is a good counter against the Executor, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Was that First Order fleet counter was that intended, or was that something? Do you think they just overlooked and happened to work?
I think it was intended. I'm going to answer this question a little differently. So we'll call it 1994. I was a freshman at The Ohio State University, and a friend of mine worked for the athletic department and was good friends with Joseph Scott Galloway. You may know him as Joey Galloway, 15-year NFL veteran. And I got a couple of drinks in me one night, and I challenged Joey to a 40. Because again, my thought process was, I've got a good twitch. All I needed was just to get off the line, and I could beat him.
Did you take your shirt off to try to intimidate him? Like, you had to get in his head a little bit, right?
I pointed out that I was taller than he was, and I'm like 5'9". But in theory, it was going to work. In practice, it just blew up in my face. All right, so
awesome, though.
Yeah, that's the finalizer's chance. Is me 30 years ago racing Joey Galloway drunk in a street. So
like it lasts for like 3 turns, and you're getting your hopes up, you're doing good, and then it's just boom, you're done.
And then you trip because you had a couple whiskeys and it's over.
Yeah. So yeah.
I love it. That's perfect.
Liquid Shorts had a question. Longtime listener. I'm wondering your thoughts on Leviathan's eventual sister fleet. These things come in pairs, as CG sells problems and solutions. Also, how much weight do you give to Trench being named Admiral, as most capital fleet owners have a military title?
Meh.
Yeah, I think Trench they just had to name that, but I was optimistic, but at this juncture, I don't think there's any plans for another fleet coming out of after this for a while.
Well, I see this as the companion to Profundity. That's the way I look at it. I don't see, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like you said, I don't know. I don't see one coming anytime soon either.
No.
I expect we'll be having this conversation in 12 months.
Yeah.
About what the next fleet is.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
But who it is, I don't know. What's going to be interesting is what's the next random ship that we get in Conquest that kind of starts the whole cycle off or something like that.
Yeah.
B-Wing would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole idea is pretty cool. Like the Return of the Jedi kind of fleet.
Absolutely.
So what about it not being a new capital ship, but in 12 months we actually just get a new chase ship that resets a fleet meta with an existing capital ship, like, I don't know, Home 1, and they finally they do a chase for, or they do this capital ship thing, but they do it for Red 5, and that's how they actually flip it in. Instead of bringing a new capital ship, they just refresh Home 1.
I could buy that.
And and people are going to buy the marquees out the ass. They've been wanting this forever now. Uh-oh. It locked up.
Lucia, you having some internet problems? Because I think we froze.
Yeah, I lost Bob.
Yeah, can you guys see me or hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I just don't know if our Twitch feed is still going.
Yeah, we're not. Just give it a second. I don't know how to get it to automatically reconnect. Damn it. It's saying it's trying to connect if you guys can see. I don't know how to get it to retry. Shit.
Logan, by the way, I also have
back. We're
the
back.
podcast comments up.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do, yeah.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're rolling. We're still going. Okay. So, Garuka, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I really do. And greetings from Holland. Like,
Hello.
no shit, right across the pond. Thank you for listening, and thank you for the question. And this is an outstanding question
Agreed.
that we'll be able to talk about for a few minutes because this is important. Hi, all. Thanks for the podcast. Makes the travel to work go a lot faster. Glad we can help you out. That's outstanding. We appreciate you listening. I have a question. How much time do you all spend on this game?
Too much.
Yeah. How much is that? How much is that in game, and how much on other stuff? Discord, videos, podcast, and finally, I love this one.
Yeah.
What do your wife / partners / families think about that time spending? Like, don't hold back, homie. Just let it go. Throw us under the bus. That works. I'm hoping my partner went to bed. So, I'm obviously not next to her, and here I am.
Yeah. So you need to go first.
I'm not going to answer this first. I'll answer this later.
I'll go ahead. So how much time I spent? I mean, it'd take me a minute to count it up, but I'll just break it down. Probably 2 hours minimum in game. Depends on what's going on. Maybe more. If nothing's going on, then probably an hour. Content creation. My goodness, not as much now that I Twitch, but when I was doing YouTube, my God, hours. Because you have to edit, you got to do all this stuff. You actually have to make it, and it's just, you're rendering your videos, you're uploading them. It's I quit doing it because Twitch, I can hit live, we can be us and just chill, and everything else. So now that I've done that, not as much. So let's say I do probably 5 to 6 hours a week on content creation. That's about it, right? I mean, on Discord, I only spend time on there because you guys are my only friends. So, of course, I don't know how long I sit there and stare at it. But as far as my wife and how she is, she's awesome. They don't watch any of my streams or any of my videos, but they're very supportive. And she'll hear like a content creator's voice, and she'll be like, "Oh, is that Arnold? Are you watching Arnold? Or are you watching Mobile Gamer?" So she's supportive. It's cute, and she is very cool about it.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in Discord. I spend a lot of time either like in the Three Scoundrels channel or my guild channel, or like just checking out different things because I do follow a couple content creators. I watch a lot of content, like YouTube content. I'll like put it on my aux cable in my car on my way to work and like just play videos and listen to the videos on my way in. So I probably do that like every day or every other day, depending on who's releasing stuff. Usually I'll watch like Zareth's videos, help him mount the algorithm, and all things aside though,
help me mount the algorithm, guys.
He puts out some really informative content. His GAC stuff is usually really good, and I like that. And then
congratulations to him for his NBA team winning, which after they beat the Lakers, that was an automatic.
So real quick, Devil says Avant spends 10 hours a week reminding Bones to get his attacks in on every game mode.
Yes,
that's actually true.
You have to mention how much time you spend reminding Bob to actually do his shit.
He is my babysitter.
I will be scouting you Phase 4 slackers, so if anyone in my guild is watching, fucking go in and do your shit, or I'm going to ping you at 6 a.m. tomorrow when I get up for work.
Yeah. For me, these are one of those tough weeks where we have Conquest, we have TB going. Thank God we don't have GAC, because honestly, if we had GAC going on right now, I'd be losing because I wouldn't be able to spend the time. Discord, to be 100% honest, I'm not on as much as I would like. I'd like to interact with the community more, but my job is rather demanding. I do some traveling. Throughout the area that I live in, I visit clients on the regular. I'm doing fundraisers and helping vets and doing that. So it's very time consuming, but I do try to get on Discord as much as I can. I will say, on a humorous standpoint, I normally, whenever I would travel to see a vet or go somewhere, I would normally jam out and listen to tunes. But now I'm basically listening to SWGOH shit. And I mean, the reason behind that is I like to listen to every show and get everybody's perspective, because it keeps me up to date, and it keeps me knowledgeable, so I can continue to give a good product to our listeners.
Yeah.
Because if I don't listen to everybody else and go, oh, that's a good point, and I give credit where credit is due. If I think of a really good point, I go, well, I heard it from this person. But I like to be informed. A couple days before the show goes live, I like to do show notes. I mean, if you think at my age I sat here and just remembered all that Datacron shit, you're crazy. I actually typed that out in a Word document. So, no, I spend a lot. I spend time in game. I spend some time in Discord, and I spend several hours doing show prep and doing show notes, and I communicate with Bob and Avant on topics, and we all collaborate on what topic we think is good, what direction should we go in. So yeah, it's time consuming. What does my wife think about it? Honestly, as long as my weekends are free and her and I can go out and do stuff, whether it's go out on the boat or go for a hike or go, watch some live music or go have dinner somewhere, my weekends are for her and I. But during the week, it's pretty much whatever I want to do. So, yeah, but that was an outstanding question, because that has been a topic that has been on a lot of people's minds about time in game. So, Pico, what about you? You also do a show.
Yeah, it's funny because mine's a little different. I don't watch videos like that. That's the big thing that I don't do, and part of that is because of I'm a multitasker and I can't watch videos and do everything else. But for me, my day starts off the same way every morning. I get up, I get a cup of coffee, I sit on the couch, and I play SWGOH for about an hour. It's going through either catching up on Discord and things like that. Kind of the running joke in my house is with the wife and kids is that nobody talks to Dad until Dad gets the first cup of coffee, and it takes me about an hour to get it down. So that's part of my routine, and it works well. And if you were to look in the back window of our house first thing in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm on one side of the couch, my wife is on the other, and the dog is in between us, and we're just kind of like this. But I spend a ton of time on Discord because, and this might be a very hyper-specific thing, but for folks that deal with like Microsoft Teams or Cisco WebEx or any of these kind of chat clients for communication at work, Discord to me is an extension of that. So I'm constantly staring at kind of channel-based communication things with people. So I use it pretty frequently from that side, and that's how I keep up with the game. Like the biggest thing for me, it's hard to say how much time I spend on Discord because it's just constantly there if I'm not traveling. The piece that's really interesting is, so like last week I was at a conference, which meant I had very little time to do anything. And then Apple telling me at the end of the week, like, your screen time was down like 35% last week. And you're like, yeah, I use it a lot because this is kind of where I spend all my time at.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I don't prepare a lot for our show. And that's, and I say that because I'm someone who functions really well just off the cuff. Like if I over prepare for something, I start stumbling on words. It doesn't come across well. This is also kind of how I do a lot of speaking for work, and it's kind of the same thing as I'll generally I'll go wander around the block and I'll listen to you guys on my headset as I'm kind of out walking. I'll start thinking about maybe what I want to talk about the next time that I'm on the show. Then I'll have to stop and rewind because I missed what you guys were saying because I got lost in my own thought from that side. But I'm not a big preparer because I think it's a little bit more wing it is where it sits for me. But
I like
it's
your
a
style.
lot of time.
It's my kind of style too.
You could have told me because some of the times you and Sarah go over kits, I'm like, damn, Pico must have read the shit out of this thing because he's hitting the nail right on the head.
Yeah, well, and I think we've been complaining lately because the character release cadence is on our bye weeks now. So, we like to have it fresh when it's there. The beauty is now I actually get to take everyone's hot takes, kind of process where that is, and I actually get to sound like I'm really smart and know what I'm talking about now because everyone else is digested all those pieces. But it's in with wife and family. I've got a 13-year-old son who's picked this game up off and on, and he actually went to go pick it up this week, and I actually talked him out of it because he was so far behind. But it's my hobby. I have a wonderful wife. I love spending time with her. We were actually talking today that like the kids are now at the point that they're kind of out for dinner every once in a while. So we like get dinner twice a week with just us because the kids aren't around, and it's great. Mm-hmm. But there's also, I'm a firm believer, you need to go into another room and just do something that's for you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that she looks at it. She knows every once in a while at 5 o'clock I need to squirrel away and go get a ship fight in, but it's she knows it's something that I do. Honestly, the biggest thing for me is like that I thought when telling her like, hey, I'm going to start cutting out 1 or 2 nights a week to do podcast stuff, and kind of figured she was going to give me a hard time about it. And I think she knows that I look forward to this so much every week that it's, we work our schedule around it because again, it's just something fun to do. So
it is
same, but it becomes like a lifestyle though, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, Star Wars is a lifestyle. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's just part of your life. It's in your heart. It's weird to say. And people who don't understand that think we're just weird nerds, but they just don't understand.
Oh, no. I got the perfect defense because my missus, she's never said anything, God bless her. But if she ever did, I have a very specific poker chip in my back pocket that says, wait a minute, don't you go to a bar with a bunch of lady friends every other week and go to Friends Trivia?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not good.
The TV show?
Oh yeah. No, my fiance is she actually bought a Friends card trivia game, and I didn't play it with her. I just took the cards out and read them to her. And yeah, nobody will ever play that with her ever. There's no way you'd win.
That's funny.
Like she knows what people said on specific episodes of specific. And it makes sense because we could hear somebody recite a Star Wars line, and I think more often than not, we would know what episode it came from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Get it. So I totally understand the Friends addiction. I'm just not, I can look at Jennifer Aniston, but I'm not going to watch every goddamn season.
They even have like a Lego set, so that's got quite a cult following.
Yeah, I know she owns it. I know.
Avant, what about you, brother?
It's interesting because like since I started doing the podcast with you guys, I've like told my wife, I'll be like, hey, it's Thursday, so like remember I'm doing my podcast tonight.
Yep.
And so like she's been super supportive of it. And like our kids go to bed like literally right before this, and my son is on the other side of that wall sleeping right now. So my kids are 1 and 4. So
ooh, little ones.
Yeah. You can't just say, listen, you little bastards, be quiet. They're not that old yet.
Well, if anyone tuned into last week's episode, I was in and out because my 4-year-old was awake for an hour and a half past bedtime and just like yelling for me. So
I know I felt bad. I could tell you were getting a little frustrated. You're like, God damn it!
But hey, we all have kids, man. We understand. You gotta do what you.
I may have raised my voice.
Are you kidding me? As a father of 4, every time you got up, I went, "Yep, been there, done that, got that T-shirt. I've been there."
Yep.
It was good though. It was fine.
When they're like,
I was also alone the last weekend because my wife was away at a bachelorette party for her sister. So I was single dad parenting, and I did podcast that night, which was definitely a bad gamble.
Pushed it to the limit. So what is
all right?
Well, how much time do you spend in what is?
Yeah. What's time
in game? Probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. I don't know. I'm not actually sure. I'd have to look it up, but I do a lot of wasted time in the game, which is kind of stupid, but
I like to just log in and like just kind of stare at things and think about what I want to do like in the future.
Ever pull up your game and just look at your roster and go, yeah,
Damn,
I
I'm a
did.
badass.
You know, I've got that. I'm cool. Like, I've done that. And then you get done and you have a little bit of guilt, like, wow, my screen percentage time just went up for nothing. I just wanted to look at my shit.
Not that his pocketbook took a dip, just that the screen time went up.
Yeah, no, my credit card took a hit for that latest purchase. Yeah. So CS Wins had an interesting question here. With the new trailer for the Outlaws game, what do you all think about an open world Star Wars game? And I'm going to answer that real quick, right off the fly. We just got done talking about all the time we spend. I'm afraid.
Yep. Same.
Yeah.
I'm legit scared. So, yeah.
Well, I'm kind of going away from mobile games because, as you guys know, I used to play Marvel Strike Force, Dragon Champions, the new Lord of the Rings game. I used to play Raid, Awaken. I mean, I'd play them all at the once, and it was my entire life. Where now these AAA titles are starting to get really good. They got the Hogwarts. You got these new. Everything's open world. You know what I mean? And I really want to start. I'll never quit SWGOH. I love doing this with this whole thing. But I'm starting to get away from mobile games, and I think that the whole mobile game genre is kind of dying off. Not dying off, but people have less money to spend than ever. I worked in a market, and I see prices are rising every week, and they never go back down. And you see that when you're, checking people out every day, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm sure there's still those whales that can keep the game going, but I just think these kind of games in general, if they don't have huge IPs tied to them, you can't be greedy and all that. And so I just see this stuff. I don't even know what I was going on about. Never mind. I don't even know where I was going with that.
No, I was actually going to say this is more of a reason about what you said earlier is why marquee should be Galactic Chases.
Okay. That's what I was going to say is these AAA titles that are coming out now for consoles and PC. Whereas you're getting way more money out of these. Starfield's coming out. I'm planning on full time covering that game. And there's just some really cool games coming out in the future and that are out now that you could put hundreds of hours in, and you probably get more satisfaction out of that than any mobile game. And your pocket, you pay one time, unless you get DLCs and stuff. So once again, I don't know where I was really going for that, but I think I'm excited to start spending more time with games like this Outlaw coming out and Starfield and stuff. And I think more people should think about that because sometimes, man, I just get too into these. They're addicting, and
they are.
And if I had money, I'd be worried. So, but luckily I'm just broke, so I can just go free to play all the time.
So the last question we had was from Bodie, and believe it or not, we answered this already. It was a question. We're due for a road ahead, which is likely to announce GL Leia is coming to the game. If that's the case, speculate on which version of Leia. We think it's Endor Leia. I think it's Endor Leia.
Yeah.
What garbage might we have to relic? Ewoks.
We pretty much went over that.
Yeah, 3 marquees you might think come to the game. I'm thinking 1 is Old Man Rex. Avant, who's your pick?
9 known.
Yeah. And the third?
Pico.
I think it's going to be Duster Han. I think it's going to be Han on a Duster.
Yep. I agree.
So I think that's it. So that is it for viewer questions. So for all of you that are still here, please follow us on Twitch. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on also Spotify. But let's go around the panel. Closing thoughts before we get out of here. Where is everybody in the game, and what are you grinding? Bob, let's start with you.
Just still doing Leviathan. I got Darth Revan R9. I'm just trying to get that R8 to R9 on Malak, and then the 5 or whatever after that to R7. So, but that's all I got left. I mean, I just gotta get these relics going. It's gonna take me a while. I gotta farm these things free to play, But thanks to Avant, we now know how to do that perfectly.
Yes, we do.
And
yes, we do.
So my progress will go tenfold after tonight. But yeah, that's what I'm working on, man. That's about it.
I'm just over 10 mil GP right now. Currently grinding the Leviathan requirements, but also slow gearing up my Fallen Order characters. And I have a couple random characters that I want to take to relic levels. Like, I want to take Zalbar to relics. And I will be 7-starring my Ki-Adi-Mundi finally after this TB, and I will be taking him to relic as well.
Nice.
Nice.
What about you, Pico?
So, for some folks that are kind of aware of this, I started a project at the beginning of this year that I was calling the New 52, and the goal was to take average a character once a week to go from Relic 5 to Relic 7 this year, and it turned out I started moving a lot faster. I have 17 characters left to get to R7 on my roster. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of it is then the acceleration of the raid has driven a lot of that. So I think I've got a vote going right now of what faction I wrap up, because I'm down to like some really bad characters. Ewoks are going to be last, but that's kind of where I'm focusing right now. And I'm just doing some mod slicing and some mod build-ups, but just waiting for Leviathan at this point.
Pico, what's your GP?
Go ahead.
Do I really have to admit it?
Please,
yeah,
please do.
It's currently right now it is. Let's check this. 12,515,715.
Jesus criminy.
Yeah.
I was like, he must be a big dog when I started hearing him. He's like about to R7 his Ewoks. I was like, okay, I need to ask what his GP is.
There is a lot of just dead bloat in the bottom of that roster. So
that's cool, man. I'd definitely be staring at. I might just log in and stare at your roster. That sounds awesome.
I've done that, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've as some people Facebook stalk people, I've actually SWGOH stalked people. I've done it.
Watch out, guys. He's watching. Even though we're about to end it here, Swampgrass, thank you for the follow, my friend, and thank you for the raid, buddy.
Swampgrass. Oh, yeah. Thank you, man.
Fellow content creator. Yep.
Absolutely. So I guess that leaves me. I just broke 11 million about a week ago. So that was pretty cool. I feel like I'm in like a higher echelon, but it whatever. It's just more money I've spent. I did have a ridiculous drop of the Galactic Chase of excess energy, and I just said screw it and bought the $20 pack, and I'm done. My Leviathan Rex are done. All I need now is the event to hit, and I can do it. And for what I want to do next, I'm really unsure, and I kind of want real quick the opinion of you guys. This GL news has me wary. I know I'm well aware it could be way further down the road, and getting tunes and relics is a lot easier. Signal data is still a bit of a bottleneck, but I feel like I should have my Ewoks on standby, but I don't know if it's just me. I'm not 100% sold on Jedi Cal yet. Like I feel like if a legend is imminent, I feel like Cal is something I can kind of put on the back burner. Maybe it's not going to be that game changing. What do you guys think? I'm at a weird crossroad where I'm not sure where I should go right now.
Well, he's got to be decent, or no one's going to give a crap. So he's going to be good. Where that is, I don't know. He's got to be better than Bam, but he's not. I don't see him like. Maybe he can take on a gas or something, or I don't know. But
I'm just wondering, what is his kit going to do for the Seer lead with her Omicron? How is that going to move? Is his kit going to move the needle? Because his Omicrons are TW based.
TB based.
TB based. Excuse me. Thank you.
I think it all depends, right? It depends on how good he is. We just don't know enough yet.
And when are we getting a kit? I mean, it's about time, right?
Soon, TM.
Right, yeah, probably about 9-10 days out.
Yeah.
So my opinion of Cal, if he doesn't lift Jedi Master Luke, he's irrelevant in PvP. And I think the bigger question, it's not about what Cal's kit is what are the rewards on Zepho and the planet that he unlocks.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to set a lot of alarm bells off. And I think, if I remember correctly, to unlock the planet, you need 15 people in your guild to beat the mission.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So part of it is, if you're the only person, if you're in a guild of 50 people and you're the only person ready for Cal, well, what's the point? Because you got to wait on the other 14. You got to wait 3 months for the other 14 people. But I think he's going to be weighed against what the Zepho rewards are and what Jedi, if he's a lifter for Jedi Master Luke. He's not going to make Seer top of the meta regardless. I just don't see that team being that way. And I think they're going to use it to fix Master Luke.
Do we know if he may still be a leader, right? Or is that out of the question?
Potentially.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's going to have a leader tag, because I think for the Zepho planet, that's going to be on Seer.
Yeah.
That would make sense thematically.
I'm just saying they could throw a leadership on there and make it more interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he very well could. He is going to have the Jedi tag, and I think depending on what his kit is, I mean, I think at this point anything different would really help Jedi Master Luke out. He's a good GL. He's just so stagnant. And I know a lot of people have said, well, Jedi Knight Luke is his lifter. That's kind of run its course. That team just is kind of it's like he needs a lifter and SE really needs a lifter.
But I mean, think of it like Bastila. We used Bastila first, and then Revan came along, correct? And then he was the new lead. It could be the same thing. Like Seer could be a good lead, but maybe his lead will be even better. And
no, what if the next conquest unit was like Admiral Pride to lift C, or like some kind of sea lifter? That would be cool.
The only reason why I don't think he's going to go on a Seer team is I believe they're calling him Jedi Survivor Cal, if I'm wrong. But if there's a Jedi anywhere in his character title, it doesn't make sense to put him on an unaligned Force users team.
That's true. Because if that's shit. I didn't even think of that. That's very true. Yeah.
I guess Seer was a Jedi. I guess it's weird that she's not considered a Jedi, or that she's unaligned Force user, because she was a Jedi at one point. Or I don't know. They just need to give us the damn kit. I mean, it's
this is a little ridiculous.
I know that kit and the Leviathan kit, so they can stop with the goddamn suspense.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, that is going to be our episode for this evening. Thank you again to all of you for listening in on this. Hope it was informative. Hope you got something out of it. If not, I really hope you were entertained. Again, your host, Old Man Logan 76. I want to give a very special thanks to PicoBurrito for taking time out of his day to be on with us. Thank you very much, brother. I love it when you're on. You always have amazing insight. And I'm done. Let's go around the panel.
Yeah, appreciate you coming by, man. I had a blast getting to meet you, and hopefully we'll see you again here really soon, man.
It is fast 2.5 hours for sure. Thank you for stopping by with us.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. Again, excited to be here. It's been way too long. Happy to come back anytime. And again, thank you.
No, thank
always,
you,
brother. Always.
Thank you. All right,
many
folks.
More to come.
Many more to come. Well, that's it, folks. So from PicoBurrito, Avant, and Bones, and myself, Own Man Logan, thank you very much for listening with us and being on the show. Hope you all had a good time. Everyone, please have a good night and have a great weekend. Good night. Good luck. Good luck on the holotables. And we are out.